The views expressed on the previous
Gotta
program
love that Ira.
No,
callers and do not reflect those of the Beasley Broadcast Group, its staff, advertisers, or agencies.
Just what we need is another squeaky voice on the air. Hey, Ira.
You fairy. This is Sports Radio 560 WQAM, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
I wanted to be buried next to her son.
Yelping about high interest rates on loans. So you better leap on over to Eastern Financial, where a home or auto loan costs less each month because they're not for profit. Not for profit means you pay less each month. So if you live in Dade, Broward, or Palm Beach, you can join. Always glad to see you.
Equal housing lender. Join today. Eastern Financial Florida Credit Union at youcanjoin.com.
Bell South Small Business simplifies your voice, data, and network experience.
Friday, you bastard.
Nobody can sing like Sting. Certainly not Jimmy Stewart. Now he proves it on this new album, Stewart Sings Sting.
Roxanne! You don't have to. You don't have to. You just don't. Listen. Would you like some soup?
Yes, you'll get great hits like King of Soup, Message in a Bowl of Soup, Soup in the Material World, and Don't Stand So Close to Minestrone. That Stewart Sings Sting, so good you'll want to listen to it with a fork.
But use a spoon. Yeah.
10:01 at 560 WQM. Happy Friday, February 23rd. Do you realize that the first trend from the winter rating book doesn't come out till March the 9th?
Gee, what's the holdup?
Oh, don't tell me you're eating already, my God. You're going to be, what are you eating, Howie's again?
Yeah, man. Grouper fingers.
Oh, that thing with the grouper fingers. Oh, you know, somewhere in my pile, I got a story about fingers. Yeah. And the only reason that I bothered with it is because I was thinking about those stupid grouper fingers. How about that Jew Lieberman who's threatening to switch parties over the Iraq? What did I tell you about him?
What a surprise.
Jew Lieberman.
Traitor. I mean, he wasn't fooling anybody anyway.
I can't find my story about the fingers, about how they're now reattaching fingers, regrow. Oh, here you go. I knew it was in my pile somewhere. Science finding ways to regrow fingers. I wonder if groupers can regrow grouper fingers. You think?
I hope so.
As a matter of fact, it's got a picture of a salamander.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Researchers are trying to find ways to regrow fingers and someday even limbs with tricks that sound like magic spells from a Harry Potter novel. There's the guy who sliced off a fingertip and grew it back after he treated the wound with an extract of pig bladder. Huh. That would be the first thing I would do. And the scientist who grew extra arms on salamanders and the laboratory mice with eerie ability to heal themselves. Yeah, this salamander's got like a whole bunch of arms. I don't know how your ordinary, I guess salamanders got, four. Well, this one's got a bunch. A bunch of legs.
About 30, man.
This summer, scientists are planning to see whether the powdered pig extract can help injured soldiers regrow parts of their fingers.
Powdered pig.
Powdered pig extract. Well, that sounds delicious. Don't tell the Muslims about that, or the Orthodox Jews. And a large filigree fund. Now, that would be an interesting dilemma, okay? Orthodox Jew or a Muslim slices off a finger, and they say that we can grow it back for you with powdered pig extract. What do you say to that? And a large federally funded project is trying to unlock the secrets of how some animals regrow body parts so well, with hopes of applying lessons to humans. Oh, I sure hope that that pig extract is halal. It better have like a circle, be from the Circle U Ranch. It better be kosher, at any rate. A sports death. Did you see Dennis Johnson's dead?
Who's that is? I got a beeper on.
Well, Chris knows who.
Former Celtic.
Dennis Johnson, the star NBA guard who was part of 3 championships and teamed with Larry Bird on one of the greatest postseason plays, died Thursday, collapsing after his developmental team's practice. He was 52. Oh, and that thing about the combine. You know, you guys on the morning show, I'm going to tell you, these guys, it's good that I get to hear about a half an hour before George comes in every morning, because the things that they put on the air, it's beyond belief to me. It's just amazing to me. This morning they were going off on this business about, well, the reason that the Tim Hardaway story became such a big deal is because the writers, the columnists, the people who write this crap, so many of them are of that persuasion, said Bo Camper, meaning gay. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Barry
That's
Jackson.
news to me.
Who's the other one?
All these gay journalists and sports writers. So that's why it became a big story, because it's their own agenda that they're trying to put. It's that gay agenda again we heard about. I thought only the fundamentalist lunatics talked such crap, but the sports fundamentalists talk the same garbage. you want to hear some garbage, baby, be sure to catch the Kenny and Bo Morning Show, because they talk some of the most... See, it's one thing when the callers call in and they do it, and they just sit back and they let them do it. They let them spew out of ignorance. But when they come on the air and talk such swill, don't be picking on Bo Camper, man. He could pick you up with one finger and squash you like a gnat.
I know.
Anyway, getting back to it, poor Dennis Johnson, he's dead. He was coach of the Austin Toros, was unconscious and in cardiac arrest when paramedics arrived at Austin Convention Center. Paramedics tried to resuscitate him for 23 minutes before he was taken to a hospital and pronounced dead. Mayra Friedman, a spokesman for I guess that's Myra, but it's a very strange spelling. Myra Friedman, a spokesman for the medical examiner's office, said there would be an autopsy, and the Toros postponed home games, whatever. He was one of the most underrated players in the history of the game, in my opinion, and one of the great Celtic acquisitions of all time, said former Boston teammate Danny Ainge, now the Celtics executive director of basketball operations. Wow. He's dead now, Dennis Johnson, only 52. And, wait till you hear this, before we get to the results of yesterday's poll, which you despise like poison. See, it doesn't make any difference, because today's poll, which I think is just fine, you liked it, and I thought it was just, we've already got 17.2% hate the poll. So I guess we've got a new deal now with the polls.
Oh, yeah.
And that is, if it doesn't quite meet their standards, if it isn't quite up to snuff or sniff, doesn't pass the sniff test. Oh, did you hear that? That sounded too great. But it's pretty much all gone. A Haight-Ashbury man returning home from an extended vacation in San Francisco tripped and fell on a corpse in his bedroom after finding his apartment had been ransacked, police said. I hate when that happens, don't you? Authorities haven't released the name of the resident or the victim, identified only as a white male, but are treating the death as suspicious, said Sergeant Neville Gittins. I wonder how much he's getting. The resident had just come back from a 2-week visit in Humboldt County when he made the grisly discovery on Monday. This is really sad, just terrible, said Kirsten Fry, who has lived on the block for more than 10 years. It's usually pretty mellow around here, she said. The resident's orange and white tabby cat seen prowling the investigation scene was taken away by animal control officials but was unharmed. Well, that's the important part. Forget about the fact he tripped over a corpse. It doesn't really say who the corpse was or what that was all about. Or maybe that was the person that was like ransacking his joint. I don't know. I have no idea.
That's bizarre.
Isn't that the kind of a story you'd like to hear a lot more about and not worry about the tabby cat?
The tabby cat?
Yeah, tabby cat. 1,330 votes on yesterday's poll, which George despised. Which now-defunct game show should they bring back to TV? What we went through on the phone, if you missed the show yesterday, I'm happy for you. I wish I would have missed it. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, boys and girls, this business of poll building, I got one for the poll, I got one for the poll. Good, good. Get a megaphone and go out on a street corner somewhere and shout it out. Give a shout out. The Gong Show wins our poll about they ought to bring it back, 253. See, the problem with bringing back those shows is they never bring back the original hosts.
Right, they need to do that.
Yeah, I mean, Chuck Barris is still alive. He's probably killing a few people for the CIA.
Probably very well preserved also, nice and pickled.
Yeah, can you imagine what he looks like now?
He was always, at least that's
Let me say
the
it
rumor.
again, what I said yesterday, and this is just my own personal observation. Even celebrities, in fact, the more you like them, the less you want to see them. It would be like my coming back in about 15 years and doing an appearance in South Florida. Oh, there's Neil in his wheelchair with his colostomy bag and his oxygen tank. Oh, man, I remember when he was like under 100, like that. Of course, I'm going to be doing those personal appearances a lot. No. The Gong Show, 253, not until somebody does something about my wardrobe. I hate this poll yesterday. Look at that. It went down to 16.3%, better than today, 218. Even though you tried to influence them badly on that. Didn't work.
For Gong Show.
The Newlywed Game, 137, with the ridiculous Bob Eubanks. That was a terrible show. And most of the contestants pulled it off so poorly. It was so obvious it was contrived that it did, All right. Match Game, 133. Should have done better than that. Match Game should have been right up there.
I agree.
Win Ben Stein's Money, 62. What is that all about?
Glare eyes.
Is it a Jewish thing or what?
It's a game show in the lifetime of the people voting on the poll.
Bad show. Let's Make a Deal, 62. Oh, wait a minute. What does this say?
Huh?
Do not reply. This is a reminder you have a... Oh, thank you very much. That's nice. Let's Make a Deal, 62. The Dating Game, 55. To Tell the Truth, 43. What's My Line, 37. Pyramid, 36. And, of course, we just put Pyramid on there, which was all-encompassing. $25,000, $50,000, $100,000 Pyramid with Bill Cullen, who didn't move around a lot. 36. Great show. And then they brought it back with Donny Osmond, and people said, as much as I like Donny, he's a good kid, but oh, my God. Concentration, 35. The Joker's Vial, 33. Joker! Joker! I mean, he was... There are no words to describe how bad Jack Berry was. Now he's dead, I'm pretty sure, isn't he? I'm positive of that. Love Connection had...
About 30, man.
Chuck Swillery. Name That Tune, 28. Password, 22. Hollywood Square, 17. With Peter Marshall. What do you always say on there? Turnaround is fair play. Turnabout is fair play. Something like that. And, of course, Peter Marshall, whose real name was Pete LaCock, and his son's name, his son had the same name. He played baseball for the Dodgers.
What did you say?
Hollywood Square, 17. Card Sharks, 14. American Gladiators, 12. Truth or Consequences, 12. Remote Control, 11. I don't know what that is. Press Your Luck, 11. Now, what's the difference between Press Your Luck and Whammy? Can anybody explain that to me?
No.
Because Press Your Luck was the original one.
I don't know.
They changed the name to Whammy. Huh?
I don't know from either one of them.
You don't know either one of them? Where they went like Whammy?
Whammy. God, it sucks.
Yeah, you do.
I remember that.
You Bet Your Life had 10, Groucho. Thank you, Dick Feinberg called that in yesterday. We would have forgotten all about it. Win, Lose, or Draw, 8. Who did we decide was the host of that? The hosted with the coast?
I forgot.
Bert Comby? Was it Bert
Yes.
Comby, Chris?
Yes.
Oh.
And then Vicki Lawrence later on.
Oh, after he croaked. After he had a brain hemorrhage and he died. Sale of the Century 8 with Joe Daggiola. Get a check. Get a check. Oh, my God. He needed an oil change, Joe Daggiola. Tic-Tac-Doe 7, Supermarket Sweep 6, Double Dare 6. I still don't know what that is. Beat the Clock 5. Beat the Clock 5.
Oh.
$64,000 question finally at 5. That was with Hal March. 21-4. That was also Jack Berry. And the famous contestants Charlie Van Doren and Elfrida von Nordroff. And then come to find out it was a fixed show. That was the one they made the movie about, right? What was the name of that movie? I never saw that.
It was all right. Quiz show.
Yeah. It was all right? Maybe I'll get that.
It was all right. I mean, it wasn't gangbusters, but it was interesting, especially if you didn't live through it like some of us did not.
Oh. High Rollers 3. That was with Alex Trebek. Who Do You Trust 2? Johnny Carson. Tattletales 2 with Bert Convy. He died of a brain hemorrhage. Treasure Hunt 1 with Jan Murray. Pantomime Quiz 1. The $64,000 challenge with Sonny Fox, not the one from the Radio 1. And Win, Lose, or Draw was on there again for some reason. This time it didn't get any votes. It did fine the first time with 8, but this time not. And Couch Potatoes had the big... none. It was fine. The audience wasn't like psychotic about it. They were just psychotic in general by the way they behaved, but how unusual is that? I got a good story here about plastic gonads.
Oh, yeah?
We have 800 votes on today's poll, which they don't like very much, but they're still voting on it. That's all we care about. They don't care whether you like it. Just vote on it and shut up.
Neil Rogers.
Fatwa Friday, you bastards.
I want her buried next to her son. Yeah, 20 years for overacting, Judge. Chaim Schmendrick.
We got a camera so you can watch them on your TV. She's not a girl, not yet a woman, so Kevin keeps on screwing pretty. You'll see she's not very smart. You'll hear Kevin fart. You might even see her go down. She will always be half dressed. Kevin needs the press, constantly the fool around. She just can't understand how one small handicap made a hit show on TV. Marrying her, you hit the gold mine. She'll just keep on spreading her legs for Kevin's better life.
Oh, we can only hope not. Oh, God, what a thought. 10:18 at 560 WQAM. And look at that. QAM, hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
I got a dumb question for you.
Go
Are
ahead.
you still up in Canada, or are you back down here in South Florida?
Well, let me ask you, what does it sound like? Do I sound like I'm far away or like I'm right there?
It sounds like you're right here.
I am.
All right, I figured so. Thanks, sir.
Yeah, not. I am not. I'm sitting in my apartment in Toronto in my boxer shorts, and the sun is shining, and it's not too toasty, to be very honest with you. It's colder than a witch's butt.
Yeah.
But. Well, let me see what it is. It's minus 11. What is that? Look on your little thing there.
Yeah.
Minus 11 Celsius, and the high today is going to be minus 7. But it's sunny and beautiful, and there's no... The snow is all gone, by the way. It's pretty much all gone.
Like 10 degrees, 11 degrees.
Oh, plus 10 or 11 degrees Fahrenheit. What's wrong with that? It's toasty, eh? And it's going to be minus 7 this afternoon. What's not to like? Yeah, these people who think that they can tell where I am based on... It's like my good friend Dick Feinberg, who called in yesterday, who's a great guy. But I told you last time I was at the track at Pompano Park, and he says, I can always tell when you're in the studio, because when you and George are like, by the way that you confabulate back and forth. And I said, I hate to break the news to you, Dick, but I haven't done a show in that studio in over a year now. And, and so I haven't seen any of you people in over a year. It's been a long time. Well, you'd be amazed if you saw me now. No, I still look
probably not.
I still look just like me.
With a shaven head.
Well, I had a shaven head when I was there last time, although this time it's shaven really, really shaven. I'm like Shinehead O'Connor today. I don't know why. It just feels good. I just like it. I don't know. I likes it.
Well, it's easy.
What do you mean by that? Don't have to, shave comb your hair and brush it and comb it and tweeze it and wash it and stuff.
Quaff it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, quaff it.
Put dippity-doo in there.
Yeah, little dippity-doo can't be all bad. You know, this thing about, I want her buried by the sun.
Oh, for the love.
Seriously, Esmer a judge would be an understatement, but I mean... Setting aside his grotesque, unacceptable behavior, and he probably ought to be disbarred very soon, but nevertheless, why is it that people make such a big deal, and I'm not asking this out of stupidity, but just curiosity, why is it such a big deal where people are buried? I mean, once you're dead, what difference does it make?
Oh, that goes way back.
Way back to what? This,
ancient times,
sarcophagus?
superstition, and,
Back to the Egyptian days?
Even before then.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't answer my question. Why is it such a big deal where they bury your ass?
Because it is.
Oh.
Just because.
And, there's some people that want to be cremated because they really believe that someday they're going to come up with some way to bring all the dead people back to life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what they're assuming is that they're going to dig up all the bodies. I've heard people say this. They're going to dig up all the bodies from all the cemeteries, and they're going to inject some kind of a magic fluid in it. You're going to be just like that, brought back to life again. Just like that landlord of mine from Sarasota, the one who said that before he would ever die, they would come up with science would come up with a way that for eternal life. And of course now he's dead. Anyway. I wish I had never blank. That's the poll today, 824. I wish I had never. And look what's leading. Gained so much weight, gotten fat, 265. Easy to gain it and very difficult to lose it. Take it from me. So easy to gain. And then all of a sudden, and then like even on the Atkins, you can lose it. And then you have a couple of bad days and you lost 40 pounds. It's all back over the weekend. Not good. Not nicht good. I wish I hadn't gotten so fat, 265. I hate this poll has got 140, 16.8%. Well, what is there to hate about this poll? Other than it's the South Florida crowd, venting their hate, their ventum, like that Schmendrick said. Ventum. Talk about illiterate. Wish I'd never gotten married, 114, George.
That's not what I voted.
I didn't say that way. I'm just addressing you, okay, because you're there and I'm here. Yes.
I hadn't voted for moving to South Florida.
That's what you voted. Wish I'd never moved to South Florida, 108. Wish I had never started doing drugs, 52. And wish I had never been born in South Florida, 26. That was what Chris said because he had no choice over it. Yeah, but then if you wouldn't have been born in South Florida, you wouldn't be on the show with us now, see?
True.
Which I guess, you're trying to say that it doesn't compensate for all the other negatives of being in South Florida, of being like a captive audience, of being a prisoner there, a prisoner of Zenda. Well, whatever. I wish I had never chosen to be gay, 22. Chosen to be gay. Little comedy vote on there. And then, of course, it's that gay agenda. That's why they made the Tim Hardaway story so big. Seriously, those guys need a spanking. It's going to take a big paddle to cover Bo Camper's ass. But Kenny and Bo, that whole crowd of theirs, they need a spanking. The stupid crap that they put on the air. Just unbelievable. I wish I never had children, 19. I wish I had never come to America in my banana boat /rubber tube /rubber tube, 15. Wish I'd never gone to college or grad school, 14. Wish I'd never started smoking, 13. Wish I'd never started gambling, 12. See, this is a good poll. I don't know what the hell these negatory 17% negative. I know, they're just bastards. Yeah. They're just relentless, hateful bastards. I wish I'd never started wearing religious headgear, 9. Yeah, once you put that on, if you put it on too tight, you can't get it off. Wish I'd never gotten divorced, 9. Now, that's interesting. In other words, they missed their ex-spouse. Is that what they're trying to say? Or they're just not happy about paying the alimony? Is that it? Whatever. I wish I'd never started drinking 6. Oh. And I wish I had enjoyed the military 5 out of 840 votes. We'll do 1,000 easy today. George will be on 1 to 2 today. I'm getting out of here at 1 o'clock.
What are you talking about? I'm playing the tape.
I got my slippers on right now, as a matter of fact. And what hotel are these from? Let's see.
Your glass slippers?
The stolen hotel slippers. Kempinski Hotel, Berlin. These are from last summer during World Cup week. I have one thing to say about last summer World Cup week in Berlin. You know what it is? That's what it is. Oh, boy. Can't turn the clock back, man. You can't live in the past. Speaking of what I was just thinking about, Annapolis, Maryland, fake bull testicles and other anatomically... Boy, how come I can't speak? Well, I got tongue-tied thinking about last summer World Cup week in Berlin. I was thinking... Oh, Jesus God. Fake bull testicles and other anatomically explicit vehicle decorations will be banned from Maryland roads under a bill pending in the Maryland State Legislature. That's Maryland. The measure was filed in the General Assembly this week by Delegate Leroy E. Myers. That name just always gets me. My friend Leroy Griffith is a real pervert like me. That's why he's my friend. But Leroy. That name just kind of like crack you up a little bit?
A little bit.
He says children shouldn't be exposed. He's a Republican, of course. They shouldn't be exposed to giant plastic gonads dangling from pickup truck trailer hitches. The bill also would ban depictions of naked human breasts, buttocks, or genitals with offenses punishable by fines of up to $500. It's time to take a stand, Myers told the Hagerstown Herald Mail. The ACLU objected to Myers' bill. The legislation is overly broad and would probably make it illegal to have a sticker on your car of the Venus de Milo from an art museum, ACLU of Maryland spokeswoman Meredith Curtis wrote in an email. Pamela Campbell, whose Bullhead City, Arizona business sells fake bull testicles, suggested that the swinging decorations can prompt healthy discussions about anatomy and reproduction. What's wrong with swinging bull testicles anyway? That's quite a delicacy in Spain, by the way.
Swinging them or eating them?
No, that's a delicacy in Spain. Your people, España. Do we have to neuter all dogs that walk by us, she asked. Where does it stop? That's right. Dogs are like, they're not wearing no underwears. Last week, Arizona's legislature rejected a measure that would ban vehicle splash guards bearing racist terms or silhouettes of naked women.
Oh, my God.
Well, it's a little distracting. People got to be scattered all over the road. Maybe that's the excuse in South Florida. Maybe people are easily distracted. Or maybe they just can't drive for Schmidt.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers.
Friday, you bastards.
Maybe you spend a lot of time around other men. In the locker room, in the shower. Maybe you play to the NBA. You're retired, and you have the need to express yourself. Nothing says it better than a card. New from Smallmark, the Tim Hardaway Collection. Each card with a built-in chip opens to play a heartfelt message.
I hate gay people.
The Tim Hardaway Collection features the most offensive thoughts in a lovely package. Close-minded, ignorant sentiments that question what's really going on with the sender.
I let it be known. I don't like gay people.
Say it with a card. When you claim homophobia and protest too much, it's a cry for help and a greeting. The next time you have an opinion that's inappropriate, but you just have to say it, dig a hole for yourself by sending a card from the Tim Hardaway Collection.
I hate gay people.
From Smallmark, when you care enough to make a jackass of yourself.
Major Bulletin Tom Vilsack drops out of the presidential race.
Who?
Anybody? Exactly. I have to put that on CNN that he dropped out. Who the hell ever knew that he even dropped in to see what condition his condition was in? Let's get serious. Wasn't that the electric prunes? I just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in. You've got it, and you've played it.
Yeah, I did.
Times. So speaking of Barack Obama, and speaking of all the presidential contenders...
No, I had too much to dream. That was electric prunes.
Had too much to dream? What did I say it was? Too much to drink? Well, whatever the hell it was. I don't know.
No, use what condition my condition is in, or just dropped in.
Well, that was Kenny Rogers in the first edition.
Oh.
I just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in. Am I correct about that? That's Kenny Rogers back when he was with his group, the first edition. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
It's no Ruby.
I like Ruby.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
Ruby, don't take your love to town. Leave it on the ground.
Yeah, that's when we liked Kenny.
You painted up your lips.
Did I ever tell you? I did tell you about 4,000 times that one night he was at Pompano Park in the dining room, sitting right across from my table.
Did you?
Just minding his own business, all alone by himself and plunging his guts out.
Did I ever tell you?
Jim Leland was up there one night. Did you ever tell me what?
That I engineered a commercial for his brother to cut a spot for Kenny Rogers Roasters, and his brother looks and sounds exactly like him.
Is that still in business, Kenny Rogers Roasters, or are they roasted?
Don't know.
Toast?
They weren't bad.
Never had that. I'm not a chicken guy, as you know. I'm not a big chicken.
That's not what I heard.
When you're Jewish, you're like, fed way too much chicken all your life, and you finally say, oh, fat. I do like chicken soup.
Gribbinus and feet?
Oh, I do like gribbinus. Boy, I wish I could have gribbinus. Man, at my stage of life, it would cause an agita. Now, did you play Ruby Don't Take Your Love to Town? Because I wasn't paying any attention.
That's what I was playing in the background.
That's what it was?
And now I'm moving on to Lucille.
Oh, Lucille. We don't have to hear all the whole Kenny Rogers collection, you know.
Why not?
Well, I don't really care. It'll kill some time. I'm only on here till 1
What do you think I'm doing at 1 o'clock, man?
Oh, in other words, you're playing music instead of that tape that you wanted to put on.
No, I'm going to play the tape and music over it.
Well, there's Rob Marciano on CNN with way too much clothing on. He's not much. Where's my buddy, that key guy? Wow. Woo! He's a key guy in my life. Anyway, can I get back to this thing about Barack Obama?
Okay.
They are going to smear him. And, of course, not so much the Republicans, because they don't have to waste their time doing it yet because, it's a long ways to Tipperary. But Swillery and that crowd, all the other people are like trying. And, of course, like Joe Biden with his stupid mouth. Every time he opens his mouth, he says something stupid, Joe Biden. He's just biding his time. And then like Chris, what's his name, from Connecticut? Chris Dodd. Tough name. He ain't going to say nothing back because it's just not. He's a real liberal. So he hasn't got any chance. But anyway, so here's a email I got yesterday from our close personal correspondent and friend Stephen. Remember the one who was ranting and raving about Tim Hardaway last week?
Yes.
Well, he pretty soon will have his own segment on the show. He says, I don't know if you watch the Colbert Report occasionally, but Wednesday night he had on, her name is Deborah Dickerson, by the way, this black chick, kind of pissed me off, he says. Apparently she's the author of The End of Blackness, and she basically spent the entire time talking about how Barack Obama isn't black.
Oh, I saw that interview, and it was hysterical.
Let me tell you, he says, what a load of horseshit. She contends that he's not really black, or at least not what we normally would consider black, because he didn't descend from a West African brought over here as a slave. Huh. I guess you got to ask that question first before you decide if you can hate somebody. She goes on to say that there are probably a lot of white people out there feeling proud that they're thinking of voting for a black president, but we can pretty much stop being proud of our colorblindness because he's not really black anyway. See, if we were talking about Malcolm, what is his name, Shamar Moore?
Yes.
Who plays Malcolm, used to play Malcolm on The Young and the Horny. I mean, he's one, not only is he light-complected, but he's one very hot-looking light-complected, at least he always was. Hey, Malcolm. Oh, God. Anyway, also she likes him, Barack Obama, but would not expect or encourage blacks to get behind him solely for his blackness, again, because he's not really black. Oh. Maybe he did like an Al Jolson, Larry Parks thing.
Talk about
he's just
bigotry.
like blackface. So I guess he's just a dark white person is what she's trying to say. This has got to be some of the most ridiculous crap I've ever heard, Stephen says. Whether or not your great-grandfather was a slave has nothing to do with being discriminated against, I think. I don't know how many white racists who, before deciding to hate or discriminate against a black person, stop to ask them, so was your grandfather a slave? No? Oh, well, then you're cool, brother. Why don't you join me at the next Klan meeting? Or is it just because he's articulate and educated that he's not really black? Whatever the case, it's totally ridiculous. I'm sure if he's gone through the same things every other black American ever has, and if he gets elected, the country will have finally taken a big step toward showing the world that we're not as dumb as our current president, and discrimination, at least for race, is almost down to the point where it should be considered totally insignificant. That is, if he gets nominated and elected. If you ask me, the biggest group of racists left now is the black people, but then again, what do I know, says Steve. Yeah, so she's, what's her name again, Deborah Dickerson, you saw it?
Yeah, it was funny. He made a fool of her and actually shut her up.
Good. Well, he's good at doing that. She probably did a good job of doing it herself. Yeah, he's not. Don't feel too. See, I don't really care what he is. So it's not like I feel like I'm broad-minded or open-minded because I'm supporting Barack Obama. I don't give a crap whether he's like light mocha, dark chocolate, tapioca pudding. I don't give a crap about that, about the texture or tone of his skin, you know? I care more about the tone of what he has to say. Well, it's the experience. You watch. They're going to do a number on him. The likes of which you can, if you think the swift boating of John Kerry was something, that was just practice, man. That was small potatoes. You ain't seen nothing yet. Trust me when I tell you. Now, who did that song? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Bachman Turner Overdrive.
That's right.
BTO. BTO.
Right. Well, that was the song I played on Zeta, boy. That was some year. What year was that? 86, 87? I would say 87. No, not 70. I'm not talking about the song. I'm talking about the year I was on Zeta. Which reminds me, it is now less than a week. Next Thursday... BTO. Now we're talking BTO. You ain't seen nothing yet. What was I just about to say? Oh, next Thursday, less than a week away from Thursday, March 1st, which is my 31st anniversary on the air in South Florida. Major day coming. How'd you like that? That was okay.
Right. I was going to stop it, but,
being the relentless bastard that you are.
Well, you talk up the silence. What's wrong with that?
Let it ride.
Yeah, this is my favorite, actually. I mean, You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet was just so overplayed. I like it a lot.
No, this is a much better song anyway. I would agree with that.
But they almost never played this.
And why is the question?
And then if you really want overplayed, nothing is more overplayed than this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm tired of that, man.
I'm already tired of it. I can't hear it anymore.
Good. They were pretty good. Bachman
Yes, they were.
For about 5 minutes. They were excellent. A group that should have been around a lot longer than they would. 891 votes on the poll. We got 1,000 looked easy before I get out of here today, Chris. Easy. I'm sure you're probably marking that down on some of your fat spots.
Oh, yeah.
Which could be almost anywhere. I wish I had never gained so much weight or gotten fat, 284. I bet you voted for that.
I didn't get to vote.
That's what I voted. I think I lost 100 pounds in 1 year, in 1975. I lost 100 pounds. I was so svelte. And, boy, that year in West Palm, man, I just want to tell you, I was a very active guy. You know what I'm talking about? Very active homo.
Huh?
Because, well, that's just the way it was. You know, I was like human looking. I was down to 170 pounds. Yeah, I was Mo. More than I could ever imagine. Almost more than I could handle. 284 wish they hadn't gained so much weight and gotten fat. I hate this poll, 152, 17%, and we don't know why, and we really don't care. Wish I'd never gotten married, 122. Wish I'd never moved to South Florida, 111. Started doing drugs, 57. Been born in South Florida, 27. How about I wish I'd never been born? Let's put that on there. Yeah, let's add it on there. I wish I had never been born. Oh, I guarantee you that'll get votes with this crowd.
You know it.
Chosen to be gay, 23.
I wish I was dead.
I started smoking, 19. Had children, 19. Come to America on my banana boat or rubber raft, Cube, 17. Gone to college or grad school, 15. Started gambling, 12. Gotten divorced, 11. Started wearing religious headgear, that schmata, 9. Because the world is all about competing headgear. That's what it's all about. It's not so much what you believe, it's what you wear on your head. Started drinking, 8. And joined the military, 5. At least they're still around to vote anyway.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers.
Neil Young.
They're nice people. Sottish. That's what I say. Sottish. They're our friends. I like it when they hold my hand. You should know that any shoddy with a bomb can attack us. I don't care if it's a suicide bomb. Next time they attack, I'll blame somebody else for that. Because they're close friends of my daddy's and my mom's. You don't seem to mind about the price of gas. Even if you did, you could kiss my ass. Now, nuking Iraq is looking good to me. Just call me President Ted Bundy.
Oh, and speaking of that, the Pentagon yesterday canceled plans to detonate a 700-ton explosive charge in the Nevada desert that had drawn environmental protests and lawsuits. You know, it's amazing that the buildings in Vegas actually keep standing, you know what?
Why is that?
Because of all those bad vibrations underground all the time. They're always conducting all that nuclear testing in the desert. I've become convinced that it's time to look at alternative methods that obviate the need for this type of large-scale test, said James Tenelia, the director of the Defense Threat Reduction Agency. Oh, I like that group, the Defense Threat Reduction Agency.
All right.
Dubbed Divine Strike. Not strike. Why is it strike? Is that a missed typo or what? Divine Strike. The test was designed to gather data for use in developing weapons capable of destroying deeply buried bunkers containing chemical, biological, or nuclear weapons. Or is that nuclear, as your president says, as your illiterate president says, nuclear. It called for detonating 700 tons of conventional explosives over a tunnel at a Nevada test site to study its effect on hard granite structures. You know, like the MGM Grand. But the experiment drew lawsuits and protests from Nevada residents worried about the possible environmental impact of the blast, which was expected to send a mushroom-like cloud 10,000 feet into the air. Not good. I wonder if that's the same mushroom that Condoleezza is always talking about. I bet you she's never seen one. A mushroom.
Oh, I see.
Tenalia said his decision to cancel the test was not based on any technical information that indicated it would be harmful to workers, the public, or the environment. Just because of so much protest, because there were so many people fired up and pissed off, or fired off and pissed up, or whatever it was. 9:16 on the poll. We're going to be close to 1,000 by the top of the hour. Not there yet, but we'll be like right on the verge. You know what I mean? Like right on the verge of some major event. Let's take a look at that schedule for today, which we always try to do. It says we got Mad Dog at 2. Power Hour with Hank and the Mad Dog together between 4 and 5. Humper Solo, 5 to 6:50. A little bit of an early exit there, 10 minutes off, because we got Inside the Batter's Box for Hurricane Baseball pregame at 6:50. The Canes against Elon at 7 o'clock. What did we figure? That was a correctional institute for the brain dead? Elon. That was in North Carolina or somewhere. Remember I looked that up the other day? Canes at Elon, another girls' school. And Chris explained to us that that's because the coach used to coach there or play there or take showers naked there or something like that?
Graduated from there.
He graduated from there?
I believe so.
Well, the fact that it's a Division 18, Boy, all kinds of faxes coming in here. This is good, boy. This will take us up right up till 1 o'clock. Oh, I got no paper in there. One moment, please.
Uh-oh.
Jesus. You know, if they would worry about taking care of people as much when they're alive as they do about after they die, then it would be what a wonderful world it would be. Like Sam Cooke said.
Same thing on the other side. Like
that is one of my favorite songs, and I really resent the fact that Art Garfunkel redid it because Sam Cooke did such a great job on Wonderful World. Have you got that? Don't know much about history. You got it or what?
I'm looking. Come on. You know
Sam
how
Cooke, he no schnook. He was in that motel with some chick and ding, he's dead. There we go. Anybody who doesn't like this song, I stepped all over poor Sam, but he's dead, he don't care.
Right. I think you just don't like Art Garfunkel because he's Jewish and you're an anti-Semite.
Yeah, that must be it. I love Art Garfunkel. I just wish he wouldn't read it. This song didn't need to be redone. It's like movies they remake that don't need to be remade. The same thing with some songs. Quit potchking around. What a wonderful world. That's a good song. Okay, that's enough of it, though. Don't you think that's a good song?
Yes, it is.
What a wonderful world it would be if they would take as much care. Be nice to people when they're alive. That's my motto to you folks out there listening. Be nice to folks while they're alive, you know? This business about honoring the dead and all that, what's the point? Here's one that says a fax. I'm hoping that the print of the article I'm faxing you is large enough for you to read. Oh, yeah, I can read anything. I got good eyesight, man. I can see something really good from a mile away. And then I get close and I think, oh, my God. We've talked about that before. You know, you're in a shopping mall and you'll see something, maybe a few yards away. And you think, oh, my God. And then you get closer and you say, ooh, even I look better than that. And that's saying a lot. It says, I printed it from AOL News. I'm not computer savvy enough to know how to enlarge it. Oh, not me either. I wish I knew how to enlarge it. It says, leave it to the NBA. Oh, I like this. Nothing but a-holes. That's what the NBA stands for. That is excellent. I love it. Isn't that cute?
Yeah.
To turn Vegas into hip-hop hell. Have you ever felt the least bit unsafe for even 1 second anywhere in Vegas? No. Me neither. It says, only the NBA hoes and homies could make people run for their lives in Vegas during last weekend's All-Star festivities. Keep in mind the article was written by a black man, so none of our professional ethnics out there can scream, racist! Oh, they will anyway. Just like that thing about that broad. What was her name? Deborah, whatever, about Barack Obama isn't black. Maybe, how about if he was like charcoal, if he was that black? Would that make him black? No, not if his ancestors didn't come over as slaves in a crate. Oh, boy.
Stacked like cordwood. What was the chick's name again? I'm going to try to find that video for you.
Deborah, I'll tell you in a second. Deborah Dickerson. I don't know if I can say that or not. I wonder if she was kin to the running back from the Colts from 100 years ago. What was his name? Lynn Dickerson? What was his name? Eric Dickerson. Very good. He had the goggles on. Correct. I don't know why he had the goggles on. It's like people that wear sunglasses on, when it's snowing. There's some people I just don't get. They wear the shades when it's inappropriate. Since NBA All-Star Weekend in Vegas was an unmitigated failure, and any thoughts of taking the extravaganza to New Orleans in 2008 are total lunacy. This is written on AOL Sports. Police were simply overwhelmed in Sin City, it says. An event planned to showcase what is right about professional basketball was turned into a 72-hour display of why Commissioner David Stern can't sleep at night and spends his days thinking of rules to mask what the NBA has come to represent. Good luck fixing All-Star Weekend, it says. The game is a sloppy, boring, half-hearted mess. The dunk contest is contrived and pointless. The celebrity contest is unintended comedy. And worst of all, All-Star Weekend revelers have transformed the league's mid-season exhibition into the new millennium Freaknik. an out-of-control street party that features gunplay, violence, non-stop weed smoke, and general mayhem. Well, George wants to be there for the non-stop weed smoke, and I'm sure a lot of you guys do, too.
I'll bring a gun if that's what it takes.
Yeah. Word of all the criminal activity that transpired during All-Star Weekend has been slowly leaking out of Vegas radio shows and TV newscasts and on Internet blogs the past 24 hours. Let's see, this was written, 2/21, so earlier in the week. It was filled with an element of violence, Teresa Fry, general manager for Coco's Restaurant, told KLSTV.com. They don't want to pay their bills. They don't want to respect us or each other. Things got so bad, she closed the 24-hour restaurant from 2 to 4 in the morning. I've been spit on. I've had food thrown at me, she said. I've lost 2 servers out of fear. I've locked my door out of the fear of violence. Oh, sounds like lots of fun. All weekend, people, especially cab drivers, gossiped about brawls and shootings. You didn't know what to believe because the local newspaper was filled with stories about raging success All-Star Weekend was. The city is desperately trying to attract an NBA franchise, and I guess there was no reason to let a few bloody bodies get in the way of a cozy relationship with David Stern. Boy, I'm doing a good job in reading this because the print is tinier than Tiny. By the way, if I would have known that one guy out there was so attached, I would have saved Tiny's ashes and I would have sent him to him in an urn because it sounds like he's yearning for the urn. Plus, it says the NBA's business partner, ESPN, didn't have time to dirty its hands and report on the carnage. I'm sure ESPN's reporters were embedded in the rear ends of the troops. Shaq, Kobe, King James, D-Wade, Al, and Melo. Is that right, Melo?
Whatever.
I'm asking Chris, not you.
Oh.
Is there a guy named Melo?
Carmelo Anthony.
Oh, I see. Well, see, I just want to make sure I'm reading it right because the print is so tiny. It says, but there were multiple brawls, at least 2 shootings, more than 350 arrests, and a lot of terror in Vegas over the weekend. And the police might want to talk to NFL player Pac-Man Jones about a nasty shooting spree at a Vegas strip club. Jones and the rapper Nelly were allegedly at Mink's Gentlemen's Club Monday morning, shortly before or during the shooting. 2 victims, male employees at the club, were listed in critical condition at the hospital. A third of female patrons sustained non-life-threatening injuries after being grazed by a bullet. There were so many fights and so many gangbangers and one parking lot shootout at the MGM Grand that people literally fled the hotel in fear for their safety. I talked with a woman who moved from the MGM to the Luxor because she couldn't take it. She said, I'll never come back to another All-Star game. There are reports of a brawl between rappers and police at the Wynn Hotel. Vegas police were simply overwhelmed along the Strip. They were there solely for decoration and to discourage major crimes. Beyond that, they minded their own business. I was there, whoever wrote this, who's the, Jason Whitlock, says, I was there. Walking the Strip this weekend must be what it feels like to walk the yard at a maximum security prison. You couldn't relax. You avoided eye contact. The heavy police presence only reminded you of the danger. The danger of a stranger. Without a full-scale military occupation, New Orleans will not survive All-Star Weekend 2008. David Stern seriously needs to consider moving the event out of the country for the next couple of years in hopes that young hip-hop hoodlums would find another event to terrorize. Taking the game to Canada won't do it. The game needs to be moved overseas, someplace where the Bloods and Crips and hookers and hoes can't get to it without a passport and a plane ticket. I'm serious. Stern spent the past 3 years trying to move his league and players past the thug image Ron Artest's fan brawl stamped on the NBA. Artest. After this weekend, I'm convinced he's losing the battle. All-Star Weekend Vegas screamed that the NBA is aligned too closely with thugs. Stern is going to have to take drastic measures to break that perception reality. All-Star Weekend can no longer remain the Woodstock for parolees, wannabe rap artists, and baby mamas on tax refund vacations. This was not a byproduct of a game being held in Vegas. All-Star Weekend's been on this path for 5 or 6 years. Every year, the event becomes more and more a destination for troublemakers. If something isn't done, next year's All-Star Weekend will surpass the deceased Freaknik, a weekend-long party in Atlanta in terms of lawlessness. Widespread looting and a rape killed a Freaknik in '99. The NBA's image can't survive Bedlam in the French Quarter. I'm not sure it can survive the embarrassment of a New Orleans standoff between the fans and National Guard either. If Stern wants to continue to strengthen the international appeal of his game, he's got the perfect excuse to move the All-Star game to Germany, China, England, or anywhere Suge Knight's posse can't find it. Suge. Yeah, they should do it. How are we doing on the poll? We got 9:34. Everything is looking up roses. And George will be on at 1 o'clock or some nifty tape.
The biggest
I think Joe's
names
working on the
of best
tape right now.
talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 5.
This is your brain. Any questions?
Hey, basketball fans, what could be better than watching your favorite players slam dunk? How about watching them get dunked in the slammer? You can with the all-new NBA Criminal League. Yes, all your favorite players on the court are now in court. There's Kobe Bryant, Darrell Armstrong, Damon Stoudemire, Glenn Robinson, Chris Webber, Jerry Stackhouse, and of course, Allen Iverson.
Iverson shoots. And he scores!
When all the NBA superstars are in lockdown, the action is locked up. The NBA Criminal League.
I tell you, with this much talent, it's going to be awful tough to pick the MVP, the most violent prisoner. Oh, Hector.
They've gone from committing fouls to committing felonies, and you can be a material witness to all the drama with the NBA Criminal League.
See there, man? That's what I call a dead ball.
The NBA Criminal League.
I love these gangsters!
11:02 at 560. Got some bad news there. We got an Amber Alert in Parrish, Florida. Anybody have any idea where that is? Parrish, Florida? Perish the thought.
I don't know.
13-year-old boy was he was grabbed at a bus stop. Some guy came along and just grabbed his ass, and the rest of them too. Clay Moore, he's 5 foot tall, 100 pounds, white with light brown hair, and he looks like a girl, quite frankly. Well, it's just the haircut, you know. He's got a bad dude. Somebody forgot to tell Clay that long hair is out, and the bell-bottom pants, and the mutton chop sideburn. You know where Parrish, Florida is?
No.
Well, here is some good news, man. Art, we love you, baby.
I love it
says. Huh?
I said I love it.
Finally got an Arbitron diary after 20-plus years of listening to enjoying Neil's show. I hope you kick ass in the ratings again as usual. At least I'll feel as though I was able to contribute after all these years of free world-class entertainment in this Bush League Banana Republic. In closing, thanks for the great show. Keep it up, so to speak, says Art. Thank you, Art. Okay? Not that we want to, influence in any way. Whatever. Yeah, there have been people listening to this show for a long time, many of them, including even some young people who have been listening to the show for a long, long time, to the point where I'm like, and they've survived it, It's not like because you listen to this show. That was the warning years ago. If you listen to that fag atheist on the radio, it's going to screw up your life and your kids' lives, and everybody's going to be, right. Sure they are. This show, man, these people don't realize. I don't want to start patting myself on the ass, but I'm going to tell you right now, they ought to be kissing the radio right now, okay? They ought to be on their hands and knees kissing their radios right now. 954 votes on the poll. I like this poll. I don't see anything wrong with it.
There isn't.
I'm not taking that personal, like I am influenced by the audience, which I'm not, but it's just so stupid, I mean, if you're gonna rip one of our polls, rip the one like yesterday, because it was geared too much toward old farts, like me. Let me say it again. Be nice to people while they're alive. Don't worry about paying tribute after they're dead. What does that do for them,
Well, their carcass will appreciate it.
And I'm as sure as I'm sitting in this chair that there are relatives of mine and also probably people in the audience. Oh, he didn't even go to his mother's funeral. Well, what difference does it make? What the hell was that going to accomplish? She already knew. I told her ahead of time that I wasn't going to participate. The only funeral I'm going to be at is my own.
Maybe.
Well, no, I take that back, but I mean, if it was, I'm not going to any funerals. It's just, I've been to a couple, and it's a horrendous thing, and a lot of crying and shrieking and carrying on. And what does that do for the person in the box, huh? What does that do? Are they aware of the
Cheers
fact
them
that
up.
Is that what it does?
Sure.
Makes them feel better about having been
smiling down from heaven on you.
Be nice to people while they're alive. There's some more words of wisdom from the wisdom. Yeah.
Speaking of being nice.
Yes.
I just sent you the video for that Dickerson interview, the Colbert Dickerson interview with Ted Bunny. It's on iFilms.
He ripped her an ass.
It's that's not exactly what he did, but he
made an ass out of her.
Yeah, that's what he did. He got the better. He got the better of her.
From the sounds of that email, it sounds to me like she did a good job of that herself, talking about.
She helped.
He's not really black because his ancestors didn't come from Africa and they didn't come over here in crates.
She set herself up, and he spiked
by being an idiot, by being a moron, a jackass, a simpleton. There's Rob Marciano again. He's not that good. I got news for you. He ain't even in the same league as that Aki guy. In fact, he was the other guy was on the other day, and he kept saying, "Well, where's the severe weather?" And he kept pointing, Aki. I can't tell you where he was pointing at. He said it's pretty severe. Anyway, here's what we got: 9:58. This hour will go over 1,000, and then of course in the noon to 1 hour, that'll be like. Now don't let me do what I did the last time I took off at 1 o'clock, which I don't do that very often. I guess that was before I went off to Berlin.
What did you do?
When it got to the top of the hour.
Clock.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
I did a thing there, and I got out early because it was like it was thinking the end of the show, which it was not.
Right.
And so I gave you like an extra 2-3 minutes, which I apologize because
you owe me.
I know you don't want any extra time.
No, I don't.
Well, why not?
We'll just fill it with the tape.
Good. 958 votes on an excellent poll. In spite of what the word around town is, it's excellent. I wish I had never gained so much weight or gotten fat, 306. Yeah, fat's bad, baby. And I'm going to tell you, I got one for you. Well, it goes hand in hand with that one, but it's not universal on the first one. Never become diabetic. Yeah. I wish I had never become diabetic. What are you laughing about, huh?
Uh-huh.
You don't want to put that on there?
No, we will.
What's wrong with that?
For some people, it wasn't up to them.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, they had the juvenile diabetes. It seems like it'd be voting for, I wish I'd never been, chosen to be gay.
Oh, you are. Look at that. I wish I'd never been born has got two. I knew it.
That'll do well.
I knew it with this crowd. And you know something? And we're feeling the same way about some of you people, too. We wish you'd never been born, especially the callers. I wish I'd never gained so much weight or gotten fat, 306. You don't have to put the diabetes thing on there. Just another word of warning for me. Don't get fat, all you punks out there. Do not get fat and diabetic, believe you me. It's not a lot of fun.
Well, it's on there now anyways.
Oh, good. Thanks, Chris. See, Chris goes along with whatever,
Yeah.
He hasn't learned from you to be put every idea come up with, that's ridiculous.
I'm working on it.
Like that,
Well, George said yes, but he said it's not always your choice. And I already.
You didn't think it was ridiculous when I sent you that check for $2,000 for being a nice guy about doing that thing on the internet there for me?
No, that was very nice.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad. I'm happy. And I'm glad you did it. I wish I'd never. I hate this pool 157, 16.2%. That's still, it's coming down a little bit, but it's still a slap in my face. Not that I came up with this poll. I'm not coming up with any of these polls anymore. I got a stack of them here halfway to the ceiling. It's great. Here in the studio in Miami. I wish I had never gotten married, 127. Not a good idea. Don't get married, okay? It ends in Souris, okay? I wish I had never moved to South Florida, 116.
It starts in Souris, and then it gets worse.
It starts bad, and it goes downhill from there. Started doing drugs, 63. Never been born in South Florida, 31. Started smoking, has got...
About 30, man.
I wish I hadn't chosen to be gay, 25. Oh, I wish I'd never had children, 21. I wish I'd never come to America on my banana boat or inner tube, 19. Gone to college or grad school, 15. Started gambling, 13. Started drinking, 11. Gotten divorced, 11. I'm not really sure I understand that one. Started wearing religious headgear. Oh, there's your thing, 9. There's your thing just popped up. Joined the military, 7. Been born to and become diabetic. Just went up there. Don't have any yet, but it will. So now, how long is this clip? Am I going to have time to watch it during the break or what?
Let me look.
The Stephen Colbert thing?
5.5 minutes.
5.5 minutes? Well, how the hell am I going to look at that? And you sent it on my Yahoo thing.
Installments.
Huh?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll watch it in installments. And then I'll have to plug the audio in, because obviously I'm going to have to listen to it. It's, what's her name again? Deborah Dickerson.
Yeah.
And there it is. It's sitting there just waiting for me to peruse it. In fact, maybe what I'll do is I'll take off like a little bit even extra earlier so I can watch it.
Just leave now.
Okay, see ya. Sounds like an idea to me. Okay, getting back to Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, if we can. Because that's really what that whole thing is all about. Is this... And they're going to find every reason you watch, man. It's going to be really ugly, and I think that there'll be a backlash against it. You know the only thing I'm really worried about, though?
What?
Is his safety. I'm not that I'm suspicious of America being a bunch of racists and rednecks, but I'm concerned for his safety if he gets nominated or even if he's just out there campaigning. Which he will be. You don't think that that's something to think about?
Sure, for all of them.
Oh, this is a great poll from Charles B., who's been working feverishly on it, and the polls, too. This is a good one. On the last day of my life, I want to go out having the best damn blank I've ever enjoyed. And here's his choices. Bowel movement. That would have been my mother's choice. Cigar, dream or fantasy, drink, ice cream, party, pee, pizza, sex, three-way, vacation or trip, or wicked weed. Boy, that's, do you have to only choose one? That's a good poll, don't you think? They probably hate it already. We haven't done it yet, but they hate it already. In fact, they're preparing already for whenever I put it up there. Oh, we hate that, Neil. We hate it. The long-term impact of the Tinseltown tussle between the Clinton and Obama campaigns is no big deal, it says, but it showcases a big issue in the primary campaign. At issue, can Senator Hillary Clinton or Senator Barack Obama be elected president? There are some Democrats that wonder if either one can win, political analyst Stu Rothenberg said. Obama supporter in Hollywood movie mogul David Geffen. Now, let's see, who endorsed him? I forget who it was that endorsed Barack Obama just last night.
Mm-hmm.
some politician somewhere, and it just looked. Oh, it was Tom Daschle. Obama supporter and Hollywood movie mogul David Geffen raised the issue front and center about Clinton. In an interview with New York Times columnist Maureen Dowd, Geffen called her incredibly polarizing and said Republicans believe that she's the easiest one to defeat. And you know what I would say to that? Absolutely correct, sir. The Clinton campaign's tough response, in which it challenged Obama to distance himself from Geffen and return Geffen campaign donations, sent a signal. It shows Clinton is willing to hit back when somebody comes after her. And does Clinton have too much political baggage? That issue's on the table now, too. That's the square table. The dust-up also raises issues for Obama. Is he really a different kind of politician? Just last Sunday, he denounced what he called slash-and-burn politics, but his campaign issued a slashing attack on Clinton. It's not clear to me why I'd be apologizing for somebody else's remarks, Obama said in Iowa Wednesday night. My sense is that Mr. Geffen may have differences with the Clintons, Obama said. That doesn't really have anything to do with our campaign. He, though, quickly got back on the high road. I've repeatedly said I have the utmost respect for Senator Clinton, he said, and I've considered her an ally in the Senate. And he also said, hover and dreared. In a polarized political environment, there's a lot more strategic voting in the primaries. Democrats want a winner. It's not just the party insiders. It's not just the political consultants, Rothenberg said. It's real people, real voters, and so I think electability will be a crucial issue. She couldn't win a fixed race, okay? She couldn't win a two-horse race if the other one was a chicken picker. The rule in politics is that when candidate A and candidate B start attacking each other, the benefit goes to candidate C. If Clinton and Obama were engaged in a day-in, day-out bashing of each other, I think it probably would help somebody like John Edwards, who could stand above the fray and act presidential, Rothenberg said, but we're a long ways from that. Do the polls say anything about who's electable? 5 national polls come out this month pitting Clinton and Obama against Republican frontrunners Rudy Giuliani and John McCain. The results are always very close within the margin of error. Nobody's unelectable, but nobody's a sure winner either, it says here, especially the way they fixed the American election. All of this stuff. 9:78, boy, that's great. By the bottom of the hour, I think we're going to have our 1,000 licked. And then we can sit back and take a deep breath. Yeah, inhale a big, big breathful, a big throatful. And start wheezing and stuff. Well, speaking of wheezy.
Friday, you bastard.
Here I stand, a naked man, in the shower stall. All around are photo clowns staring at my toes. We're straight guys talk all the time about men who play games. Can't keep their eyes off tied behind, insisting they're not gay.
You fairy.
You've got to hide your heart away.
Oh, my God.
You've got to hide your heart away. Towel snaps and hardly glasses, that straight, gay or bi. Men who talk of other men is a sport hole, state of mind. No girls here, just sport hole queers, having fun with the boys. In the locker room I hear boing, 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 boing. You've got to hide your heart away.
Are you sure?
You've got to hide your heart away.
Huh?
Okay, 20 past 11 at 560. I'm going to do something. I'm going to try this. I don't know if it's going to sound really good. And if you would have just let Fix-It come up here, let me play the audio through the board. I wouldn't have to, like, play it through the speaker.
Well, it's going to have to happen, I think, someday. Just for a variety of reasons.
Black experience, and it may affect his.
Does that sound okay?
Yeah, actually.
Oh.
I could play it from here.
Columnist for Salon.com and author of the book The End of Blackness, Deborah Dickerson. Ms. Dickerson, thank you for joining us.
Is it buffering?
It's the End of Blackness. I want to come out right here and say I'm against ending blackness. I believe that everyone has a right to be black. It's a choice, and I support that. Now, settle something for me, okay?
Yes.
Is Barack Obama black?
No, he's not.
in the American political context, black means the son of West African, the descendant of West African slaves brought here to labor in the United States. It's not a put-down. It's not to say that he hasn't suffered. It's not to say that he doesn't have a glorious lineage of his own. It's just to say that he and I, who am descended from West African slaves brought to America, we are not the same.
Okay, so if he's not black, why doesn't he just run as a white guy? Because we know black people will vote for white people, and white people will vote for white people, but we're not sure white people will vote for black people.
Right.
So it seems like by self-identifying as a black man, because he says that he's a black guy, he says nobody thought a black guy born in Hawaii with a father from Kenya and a mother from Kansas could actually win a race. So why didn't he just say, I'm a white guy? Then it's a lock.
Right. Well, he's not white either. He is an African-American, or he is an
Should we
American.
think of a new name for what he is?
We do. We need a new name because
what about
there's
nouveau black? Late to the scene blackness.
Well, we could go with as black as circumstances allow, but...
That's not bad.
Yeah.
I like that. Well, I got to say, Ms. Dickerson, I am disappointed in this because, I was really looking forward to voting for a black guy. I was really hoping to leave the voting booth and say, hey, I voted for a black guy.
You can say I voted for an American of an African-American, an American of African immigrant stock, and he's also a person who has adopted the role of being black. So he's a brother, but he's an adopted brother. And the significance of this, he's a beloved adopted brother. The significance
Sounds like a redheaded stepchild. You can slap him around a little bit, nobody's going to care.
But we love him just the same.
Okay, all right. But shouldn't black people jump on the Obama wagon? Because if he doesn't have the burden of this past of being the descendant of African slaves, he doesn't feel the black experience, can't he just sort of carry the torch and y'all just piggyback on him?
Well, I think that's what's going to happen. I think Barack Obama is a wonderful person. We're proud of him. And this is not a critique of him. What this is a critique of white self-congratulation, of saying we're embracing a black person when we're not really. It's a way of, if he were a sub-Saharan African, he would not get this love.
If you hadn't told me he wasn't black, I would have thought that I was supporting a black person. And then I would have been supporting all black people.
Where'd you go?
But now I won't because he's not.
Right. Well, then that would make you a racist.
If I were white. But I don't necessarily know. I don't see race, okay, because I've moved beyond that. I've developed beyond that. I'm so not a racist that I don't see race. People tell me I'm white, and I believe them because I think Barack Obama is black.
He's an African.
He's an African-American. So it sounds to me like you are judging blackness not on the color of someone's skin, but on the content of their character, which I think realizes Dr. King's dream in a very special way.
I think you mean not so much special as perverted. But I think that... You got me so confused.
Yeah, that's obvious.
It's not
Wait,
the content of
more.
our characters, the content of our history and our culture. And what we're doing by calling him black is obliterating the culture of his Kenyan father.
Well, would this make it more acceptable to the African American community if he shared some of the experience, the Black American experience, and he wasn't a descendant of slaves, but what if for just a brief period of time he were enslaved? And then, but nothing racist. He could be like, he could be Jesse Jackson's slave or Al Sharpton's slave. And then they could say, like, okay, you're free now, and, no foul, no harm, and he's got all the street cred he needs. Think about it. Think about it.
I think you may have me there.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, he had you the first word out of your mouth, honey. He had you. Oh,
just
that
when
was
you
a beautiful
thought,
thing.
yeah,
It was well worth it. Did
just
it sound
you
okay?
Yeah, it did.
Well, good.
Actually,
and thank you so very much. See, how do you like that? That killed some excellent time. So,
Sure.
guess what? I'm not really Jewish, and I'm not really gay. Okay.
Right. And I'm not
Because
a stick. I'm a generican. I was.
My ancestors were from. Maybe they were. What is it? Moonians.
Moonanites.
Moonanites. That's what it is. Maybe my ancestors were Moonanites or Mennonites. What the hell are the Mennonites, by the way? Do they use men in aftershave?
No, less strict than Amish.
Oh,
they dress plain, but they're allowed to use electricity and gasoline-powered motor contrivances.
Well, I'm going to adjust my wardrobe so I can become a Mennonite.
I think
that was a beautiful thing, and of course she was a total jackass. He's an African American. Yeah. How about a few more adjectives? How many? We got 1,007 votes on the poll. Oh man, things are just swimmingly good.
The biggest names, the best talent.
Sun is shining.
This is Neil Rogers.
Fatwa Friday, you bastards.
Hello, this is Albert Qaeda from Taliban Records inviting you American infidel to buy latest Cat Stevens collection.
You know Muhammad is right. Take your head off your body. Got a machete with a real sharp blade. How I wish I had an American hostage. Make those infidels pay.
Also including this classic.
I was on an airplane and suddenly was detained. They're mad 'cause I converted and wear a towel on my head. I'm being followed by an F-16. What do they want with me?
The money from your purchase does not go to fund terrorism, really.
It's not time to get off the plane. Just relax and take it easy. You're just dumb, that's your fault. It wouldn't happen if I were a Jew. Fine dark skin and a rag if you want a detainee.
Another variation on a classic.
I ask myself every day which American should pay. Tell me, who would Muhammad slay? I'm cutting through the neck of a woman. She lifted her veil and exposed herself.
So buy new Cat Stevens collection today for $19.95. Or you can pay with Visa, MasterCard, or weapons of mass destruction.
11:33, 27 till noon at 560 WQAM. A U.S. soldier was sentenced to 100 years in prison yesterday for the gang rape and murder of an Iraqi girl and the killing of her family last year. Sergeant Paul E. Cortez, 24, was also given a dishonorable discharge. He'll be eligible for parole in 10 years under the terms of his plea agreement. He's sentenced to 100 years. He'll be eligible for parole in 10 years. Cortez of Barstow, California, pleaded guilty this week to 4 counts of felony murder, rape, and conspiracy to rape in a case considered among the worst atrocities by U.S. military personnel in Iraq. In his plea agreement, he said he conspired with 3 other soldiers from the Fort Campbell-based 101st Airborne Division to rape 14-year-old Abir Qasim al-Janabi. The girl, her parents, and younger sister were all killed. Earlier yesterday, tears rolled down Cortez's face as he apologized for the rape and murders. He said he couldn't explain why he took part. I still don't have an answer, he told the judge. I don't know why. I wish I hadn't. The lives of 4 innocent people were taken. I want to apologize for all the pain and suffering I've caused the al-Janabi family, he said. A little bit late now, I guess. The military judge hearing the case, Colonel Stephen Henley, issued a sentence of life in prison without parole, the maximum for the charges. Under military law, the defendant is given the lesser sentence unless he violates terms of the plea agreement, which requires Cortez to testify against others charged in the case. Psychologist Charles Figley testified that Cortez and the other soldiers likely suffered stress brought on by fatigue and trauma. It eats you up, Figley said. It's a horrible thing. This is not unique. We've seen this in other wars. 5 soldiers who served with Cortez in Iraq testified that his actions were out of character and described the hardships of war they experienced, including sleep deprivation and lack of running water. All of these things. Sounds like a lame excuse to me. You know, all of these African-American and African-American, all this other crap, it is a bunch of crap. I've been saying that for years. What's wrong with just plain old black?
Yeah.
Is there something wrong with that?
I don't know. They keep changing the title, so apparently there's something
That's
wrong
what
with
I keep saying. We keep going from one, it was Negro, and then, of course, the other N-word, which, God forbid, we can't say that. And then, you know, African-American. Like somebody woke up one day and decided, hey, here's a real nifty cliche.
See, I don't like that, because as she explains, you know, Africa's a continent with a lot of different ethnicities in it, including white people, Arabic peoples, etc., and so on.
So why can't they just be black? Like Iraq?
I don't like it. Don't like
it. African. See, I never heard of a African Canadian.
No?
Or an African Dutchman, or African Italian. Did you ever hear of any of these things? Of course not. Nobody ever heard of them because nobody bothered making those up. Here's the poll so far. We got 1,022 votes. I wish I had never gained so much weight or gotten fat. 324. I hate this poll. 168, down to 16.4%, but still an embarrassingly high number on a fine poll. On a very nice poll. There's not a damn thing wrong with it. Do you see anything wrong with it?
Nope.
I'm stalling because I can't find the damn thing. Oh, there it is.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's very nice, this poll. Hate this poll, 168. Wish I had never gotten married, 131. Moved to South Florida, 122. Started doing drugs, 67. Started smoking, 39. Been born in South Florida, 31. Chosen to be gay, 26. Oh, those must be the ones. Wish I had never had children, 23. Come to America on my banana boat or rubber inner, 19. Gone to college or grad school, 16. Started drinking, 13. Started gambling, 13. Gotten divorced, 11. Started wearing religious headgear, 9. That hasn't changed, did it, the whole time, okay? We probably don't have a whole lot of people out there. Like Orthodox Jews, what other kind of people wear religious headgear all the time? Muslims?
Sure.
How many Muslims do you think we got? Not many. Wish I'd never joined the military, 7. Been born. Wish I had never been born, 3. And wish I'd never become diabetic, so only got a pair out of 1,025 votes. Well, we got our 1,000 votes, Chris. You can be really proud of us.
Okay.
Or not, as the case may be. QAM, hello. QAM.
Hey, Neil. How you doing?
Good.
Hey, I got one. Maybe I don't know if you have it on the poll or not. Wish I'd never taken this job.
Oh, that's not bad. I like that.
One other thing. Actually, 2 other things. Please don't play any more Jimmy Johnson spots. He sounds like Clem Cadiddlehopper when he talks.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna start censoring the spots. Right.
Oh God, he's terrible.
Well, forget about that.
One other thing before I go. If you climb up a tree, Neil, I will kiss you between the limbs. Have a good day. Goodbye.
5670560 pound 560 on the Verizon Singular wireless line. WQAM, hello.
Yes, I was a black man with.
Yeah, right. I was a black man, yeah, with a bad phony accent, man. Wow. Even George Jefferson is embarrassed for you. I was a black man. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil, I got another one for your poll. George voted for George W. Bush.
Ooh. Oh, I like that. I wish I'd never voted for George W. Bush. That could be the winner right there.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, pal.
Have a great day.
You too. See, how do we leave that off of there, huh? I wish I'd never voted for George W. Bush. Oh, my God. I'm ready to plots after that. I'm ready to lay down on the floor and start making guttural sounds right now. Excellent. WQAM, hello.
Neil.
Yeah.
I think we all need to...
Yeah, okay, good. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Is tic-tac-toe on your poll?
Yeah, it's right on. Yeah, it's on your ass. Yeah, they're playing tic-tac-toe on your ass, okay? Make sure you don't use the indelible ink. Not good. WQAM, hello. QAM.
Neil.
Yes.
Just drove by the Broward County Courthouse to let them know I'm the daddy. I'm the daddy.
See, being the daddy requires certain equipment, which obviously, sir, you're lacking, so, you know, we don't have to do too much testing in your case. Don't work that way. 1,034 votes on the poll. I wanted to be buried next to the sun. I got an idea since the sun is way out there in outer space. How about next to Uranus? How's that, Judge? Such a judge. And now they're starting to show clips of Judge Judy next to him.
Yeah, right.
So he's getting... They're knocking him on the one hand, but by the same token, they're giving him like exactly what he's looking for. That's what he wanted. He wanted his 15 milliseconds of fame. Schmeckle. Well, there's that Amber Alert for that kid. A 5'6" Hispanic man driving a maroon pickup truck. Do we have any idea where that is? What's the name of that place again? Something... I have no idea. Well, I forgot already where it was. Someplace I never heard of before in Florida.
Considered armed and dangerous. Now, we hope to learn more information. There's going to be a news conference, Fred, at the
I can't wait for another news conference. That's always my favorite. In fact, if Jimmy Johnson's going to be on the news conference and Dave Wanstead and Wayne Huizinga, we'll probably carry it here on QAM.
The biggest names of best talent. This is Neil Rogers.
Obsession with hokey.
Now, see here. I ain't never said no. I'm getting very annoyed about me saying doy. I ain't never said it. that they ought to pay me by the I'm getting tired of hearing it everywhere I go.
You always say doing.
Say sorry. From this point on, you will intercede by my terrific.
11:46, 14 till noon at 560 WQAM. Got way over 1,000 votes on the poll. Everything is hunky-dory, and George will be on at 1. Oh, man, I can't wait for that. I may actually stick around and listen. What do you think?
I think you're a liar.
Yes, I am. WQAM, hello. And that's it. That's the end of those calls. That's probably just as well. Although, it's a damn good thing we added that voted for George W. Bush. Although I can't imagine that many people are listening to us right now. We've already got 3 on there. They're so sorry. They regret that. And they should apologize, man. You got blood on your hands. I'll tell you that right now. There's a lot of blood on a lot of people's hands. Make no mistake about it. Speaking of political, Doug Thompson wrote this. I didn't know that. Doug Thompson wrote this on CapitolHillBlue.com. Senate Democrats appear ready to try to revoke the broad authority Congress gave President Bush to launch his increasingly unpopular invasion of Iraq in 2003, but the escalating debate in Congress could change the balance of power in that legislative body. While Democratic leaders map out a strategy to seize control of the war from Bush, maverick pro-war Democrat Jew Lieberman is threatening to jump to the Republican side of the aisle, effectively turning control of the Senate over to the GOP, the gay old party. Lieberman's not-so-subtle threat adds fuel to the burning debate on Bush's failed Iraq war and highlights the frailty of Democratic control. They are 2 separate words, aren't they? Frailty and fragility. Yes, they are. If he switches parties, the Senate would be thrown into a tie with Vice President Dick Cheney having the deciding vote.
Oh, my God.
4 years ago, Congress passed legislation authorizing President Bush to go to war in Iraq. Now Senate Democrats want to take it back. Officials said Thursday the precise wording of the measure remains unsettled. One version would restrict American troops in Iraq to fighting al-Qaeda, training Iraqi army and police forces, maintaining Iraq's territorial integrity, otherwise proceeding with the withdrawal of combat forces. Majority Leader Harry Reid intends to present the proposal to fellow Democrats next week and is expected to try to add the measure to anti-terrorism legislation scheduled to be debated later this month. Officials who described the strategy spoke only on condition of anonymity, noting that rank-and-file senators hadn't yet been briefed on the details. Republicans recently thwarted 2 Democratic attempts to pass a non-binding measure through the Senate that was critical of Bush's decision to deploy an additional 21,500 combat troops. But the fly in the ointment may be Lieberman, who lost the Democratic primary in his home state, won as an independent, and aligned himself with Democrats when the new Congress opened. Reports Carrie Budoff of the Political, or is that Budoff? She worked her butt off to write it. Senator Jew Lieberman of Connecticut told the Political yesterday that he has no immediate plans to switch parties, but suggested that Democratic opposition to funding the war in Iraq might change his mind. I think somebody ought to do something with his Hummintoschen, just like Connie did with the cannolis in Godfather 3. What do you think? Exactly. Right. Lieberman, a self-styled independent who caucuses with the Democrats, has been among the strongest supporters of the war and President Bush's plans to send those additional troops into Iraq to help quell the violence there. I have no desire to change parties, Jew Lieberman said in a telephone interview. If that ever happens, it's because I feel the majority of Democrats have gone in a direction that I don't feel comfortable with, said the Farbisan Lieberman. Asked whether that hasn't already happened with Iraq, Lieberman said, we'll see how that plays out in the coming months, specifically how the party approaches the issue of continued funding for the war. Remember that jackass that called a couple of days ago and said, oh, I can see it now. It's pretty much written. First, it was written in stone that it was going to be Hillary for president and Barack Obama for VP, which sure as hell isn't going to happen. And then he comes up with it's going to be Obama with Jew Lieberman as the running mate. I mean, give me a break.
Oi!
1,057 votes on the poll. Let's see how it's coming. George is going to be on in just an hour and 10 minutes. Not that I'm counting, you understand. What?
No, I understand.
Now we're going to play a tape?
Sure. And music.
I think what we ought to do is play a tape of Joe Bell talking about how the tapes are so much better than when George fills in.
Mm-hmm.
See, he'll never say that to your face. Remember what he told you? He'll never talk about you behind his back.
No, you're wrong. He repeated exactly what he told you to me.
What was that?
To my face.
That the tapes are better and you suck?
No, that how much of how much substitution can we do before we can't call it the Neil Rogers Show anymore?
All we want. How about what we do all summer long? Starting, you know something? Today is the 23rd of February.
And when he hears the Neil Rogers Show, he hears something that could be played Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, next week, or a month later from.
Well, that's because he's a crazy person. Let me say it again. We got March coming up, and just like next Thursday is March 1, right? Because it's my big anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
So April, May, and June, like 3.5 months after that is the summer vacation starts. The summer schedule.
Where it's going to be all tapes.
There aren't going to be any tapes. Oh, you remember we went through the same thing with Greg on that, too.
I know.
Way back then.
Right, he can't stand me.
Well, they hate you, even though you're number one in the summertime all the time. 1,057 votes on the poll. They just don't like you. That's the way it was in IOD, and that's the way it is here. People don't like you, George.
Acknowledged.
Okay?
No, a lot of people like me, just no one in management, apparently, in this building, in this radio station.
I see. Well, the people that count don't like
right.
you. I wish I had never gained so much weight or gotten fat, 332. I hate this poll, 175, 16.5%. Oh, there's that Leo DiCaprio. He makes me want to puke. You know what also makes me want to puke? They showed all those rats. Did you see that on CNN a few minutes ago at Taco Bell?
No.
They showed a whole bunch of rats running around. Why do they do that just before lunchtime? Bastards.
Yeah.
Not that I'm having lunch, but nevertheless. I wish I had never gotten married, 132. Moved to South Florida, 125. I wish I'd never started doing drugs, 67. Started smoking, 43. Been born in South Florida, 31. Chosen to be gay, 27. I wish I had never had children, 23. I wish I'd never come to America on my banana boat or rubber inner
cube.
Gone to a college or grad school, 16. Wish I'd never started drinking, 15. Gotten divorced, 13. Started gambling, 13. Oh, there's that John Stockwell. What's that movie, Losing It?
Yeah, that is it.
But while Cruz's career took off...
There's my buddy John Stockwell. Boy, if there's ever anybody been looking any better than that.
Look at that pointy head on Tom Cruise.
Forget about Tom Cruise. I'm looking at my buddy John Stockwell. Boy, he was really pristine and clean. That's what this old queen is saying. I better get that movie, Losing It. Although I'd rather watch Christine. Is pristine. Anyway, I wish I had never started drinking, 15, gotten divorced, 13, started gambling, 13, started wearing religious headgears, got 9, the same 9 goofballs that started. I joined the military, 8, been born, wish I'd never been born, 4. Wish I'd never voted for George W. Bush, has only got 3. Become diabetic, 3, and taken this job, none, out of 1,060. How can I wish I'd never voted for George W. Bush, have only 3 votes? I mean, granted, most of the Bush people, that 30%, you know,
about 30, man.
The last bunch of retardos who are holdouts, who support him in every poll, and who just, are in total denial because they're too stupid to understand what's going on in the world and all the blood on his hands, and what a butcher he is, and a lunatic, and a loser, and destructive, etc. But we've only got 3 of those. Well, maybe that's good. Maybe they've all flown somewhere. Maybe they're over there with Rush now. Maybe they're popping some pills. Could be. That's one thing. Whatever happened with Miss Foley? Is she still in rehab? And by the way, how come we don't have the story? Guess who's back in rehab, George?
Brittany?
Right. She went back in yesterday, the same place that she left the day before.
Right. This makes number 3.
Yeah, well, that seems to be your favorite pastime. In and out, in and out, in and out. Yeah, I worked with Kevin, evidently.
What do you mean by that?
You know exactly what I mean, the old in and out.
Draw me a picture, would you? Fax it.
No, not anymore. Why, you still got the hots for Brittany?
No.
Oh, my God, especially with that dude. Wow. She ain't looking too lovely these days.
Unclean.
Yeah. So what about those Oscars, huh? I could care less. I haven't seen any of those movies. And what's the one you were telling me before I should see, the one guy called about? Flyboys? That was yesterday.
That's the one that I was saying you should not see.
Oh, I should not see?
Nazi.
Did you say Nazi? Yeah. But you said, what's his name's in it? James Franco.
That's right. And
I
it's
do
a
like
bad
occasionally
movie
his Franco-American spaghetti.
It's not his fault that it's a really boring movie.
He's one of those people you really don't know what he looks like. I guess if you met him in person, you'd know exactly what he looks like. But he's like an enigma, you know? He's a good actor, though. He's pretty good. You don't think?
He's just fine. He's adequate.
Here's a fax from Dyke Dick, D-I-K. I've never been able. He always faxes us. I have no idea how to pronounce his name. Well, it's one or the other. Maybe it's Deke. Deborah Dickerson, speaking of that, can kiss my ass, he says. Please find me one white supremacist who gives a rat's ass about Barack Obama's heritage. Amen. All these people know the color of his skin, which is indiscernible from many African Americans who are the descendants of slaves. His non-slave heritage would not stop a racist from spewing epithets toward him or bashing his head in. Amen. It sure as hell is going to keep them from voting for him. That's for damn sure. It is as often described, if as the so-called black experience is the result of white racism, then our whole concept is nothing but a smelly pile of cowpuckies. African-American is a useless term. Can someone of Egyptian descent born in the U.S. consider himself African-American? See, that's what you were saying. All the different kind of people live in Africa, like in Egypt.
Right.
See the pyramids along the Nile. You Belong to Me by Joe Stafford. Remember that? I hope you don't have that. I hate that song.
I'll go find it.
If there is a God, we should thank her for giving us Stephen Colbert. F the callers, don't ever change, it says. Well, amen. So how do you like that? What a can of worms we opened there with that whole... They killed some good time, though. Thanks, Stephen. Killed some excellent time.
I got no Joe Stafford.
You don't? That was your name, just J-O. Not J-O-E, not Joe as in who. Nobody wants to know Joe.
I got Jim Stafford and Terry Stafford.
Jim Stafford and snails and spiders and what is it? Spiders and
snakes.
And snakes. Joe Stafford. It's from like before you were born. Oh, we don't want to hear that. See the pyramid along the Nile. You Belong to Me. I think the Duprees did that too. Now maybe you have that. That's really old. The Duprees. You Belong to Me. See the pyramid along the Nile. All those Egyptian Americans are over there. And what about all those? Yeah, there we go. Now we're talking. I knew it. Oh! All right.
Oh, my God.
Huh?
See the pyramids along the Nile. Watch the sunrise on the trail.
I think they're about to come through the ceiling. Oh.
Just remember, darling, all the while you belong to me.
Okay, the Duprees. That's enough of that from what, about 18, what was it?
I don't know. The biggest names,
57.
the best talent. This is Neil Rogers.
02 at 560 WQAM, and it's the 12 to 1 hour. I mean, ordinarily, it's not a big deal. It's usually the 1 to 2 hour that's a big deal, because then it means go home, you know.
Did you forget something last break?
Did I? I forgot to do a spot?
Yes.
How about if I do it right now? It'll still be part of the last break.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
You don't think I'm like trying to accelerate to like speed up the clock and just run the hell out of here?
Yeah, of course.
You wouldn't think I would do a thing like that, would you? Like I said, time to talk about the main man in the mortgage business, Anthony Caliendo. We all know there are a lot of headaches that come along with financing a home or buying or selling real estate, whichever, all of these things. According to the main man, it's because there are too many parties involved in the transaction, which causes lots of mistakes and delays, misinformation, lack of communication, lies and excuses, and at the end of the day, it's you, the consumer, has to deal with all the stress. You get the fallout. The main man has solved all these problems for you. Just one easy phone call, 1-800-MAIN-MAN will take care of all your mortgage and real estate needs. One phone number, one person to deal with. The main man and his team of pros get all the answers you'll be looking for. It's the biggest transaction of your life, and it's about time somebody made it easy for you. So call my main man, Anthony Caliendo, toll-free, 1-800-MAIN-MAN. That's 1-800-MAIN-MAN, or online it's themainman.com. And don't forget, one call does it all. Okay, we kosher now?
Yes.
We're kosher for Pesach, and Purim isn't that far away. It's like the first week in March. Did we figure out? WQAM, hello. QAM.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hello? Hello?
Hello, hello.
Hey, kneel down, baby. No, I'm just kidding. I'm busting your chops.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, hey, check it out. So with like this whole Bush like crap and everything, like, do you know much about like the Freemason and like the Illuminati and all these like secret societies and skull and crossbones which George Sr. and George Bush Jr. Are a part of? And do you really think like because I was watching on History Channel that they really have like conspiracy and they're actually controlling the world and wars.
Yeah, they're controlling you, man. I'll tell you that. Something is. It must be that white powder. That must be controlling you. Woo! Heavy duty. Oh, look at that Colgate spot. I like that. That's somebody for our MySpace thing. Well, we got several more members. We got about 1225, I think, something like that.
All right.
Well, I'm busy here, you know. I'm very busy. I'm like Luca Brasi, you know. Like Luca Brasi said, I'll leave you now because I know you are busy. I got all kinds of stuff going on. 5670560, pound 560 on the Verizon Singular Wireless line. Most of them having nothing to do with the show, by the way. Juan Gonzalez in the New York Daily News writes, oily truth emerges in Iraq. Throughout nearly 4 years of the daily mayhem and carnage in Iraq, President Bush and his aides in the White House have scoffed at even the slightest suggestion that the U.S. military occupation has anything to do with oil. The president presumably would have us all believe that if Iraq had the world's second largest supply of bananas instead of petroleum, American troops still would be there. Now comes new evidence of the big prize in Iraq that rarely gets mentioned at White House briefings. A proposed new Iraqi oil and gas law began circulating last week among that country's top government leaders and was quickly leaked to various internet sites before it was ever presented to the Iraqi parliament. Under the proposed law, Iraq's immense oil reserves would not simply be open to foreign oil exploration, as many have expected. Amazingly, executives from those oil companies would actually be given seats on a new federal oil and gas council that would control all of Iraq's reserves. In other words, Chevron, ExxonMobil, British Petroleum, BP, and the other Western oil giants could end up on the board of directors of the Iraqi Federal Oil and Gas Council, while Iraq's own national oil company would become just another competitor. The new law would grant the council virtually all power to develop policies and plans for undeveloped oil fields and to review and change all exploration and production contracts. Since most of Iraq's 73 proven petroleum fields have yet to be developed, the new council would instantly become a world energy powerhouse. We're talking about trillions of dollars of oil that are at stake, said Raed Jarar, an independent Iraqi journalist and blogger, who obtained an Arabic copy of the draft law and posted an English-language translation on his website over the weekend. Take, for example, the massive Majnoon field in southern Iraq near the Iranian border, which contains an estimated 20 billion barrels of oil. Before Saddam Hussein was toppled by the U.S. invasion in 2003, he granted a $4 billion contract to French oil giant Total Fina Elf to develop the field. In the same way, the Iraqi dictator signed contracts with Chinese, Russian, Korean, Italian, and Spanish companies to develop 10 other big oil fields once international sanctions against his regime were lifted. The big British and American companies have been shut out of Iraq thanks to more than a decade of U.S. sanctions against Saddam. But if the new law passes, those companies will be the ones reviewing those very contracts and any others. Iraq's economic security and development will be thrown into question with this law, said Antonio Juhas of Oil Change International, a petroleum industry watchdog group. It's a radical departure not only from Iraq's existing structure, but from how oil is managed in most of the world today. Throughout the developing world, national oil companies control the bulk of oil production, though they often develop joint agreements with foreign commercial oil groups. But under the proposed law, the government-owned Iraqi National Oil Company will not get any preference over foreign companies, he said. The law must still be presented to the Iraqi parliament. Given the many political and religious divisions in the country, its passage is hardly guaranteed. The main religious and ethnic groups are all pushing to control contracts and oil revenues for their region, while the Bush administration is seeking more centralized control. While the politicians in Washington and Baghdad bicker to carve up the real prize and just what share big oil will get, more Iraqi civilians and American soldiers die each day for freedom, we are told, says Juan Gonzalez in the New York Daily News.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Yeah. Freedom's on the march.
They hate us for our freedom.
Yeah. That's right. They hate us because of our freedoms. That's right. The ones we used to have. Oh, look at this. They're making a big timus about this kid that got grabbed off the street corner. Suspect is in his 30s, has a dark mustache, wore a tan and blue striped long-sleeve shirt. Where is this again? And they won't tell us anymore. Somewhere in Florida. Somewhere that we never heard of. And they're having this press conference. Let's get it on right now, but what has it got to do with sports? Here's the poll so far. 1,088 votes. I wish I had never gained so much weight or gotten fat, 339. Wouldn't it be nice if we had that magic wand? You know that wand you've got? Yeah, that's the one. Oh, my God, look at that. I weigh 150 pounds. I got not an ounce of fat on my body. I got a physique just like Brady Quinn. Oh, speaking of the MySpace thing, I got a message from somebody saying if the Dolphins signed Brady Quinn, would you move back to South Florida and get your Dolphin season tickets again? And I wrote back, no chance. Yeah. No chance.
What about just getting the season tickets again?
The only reason you'd want me to get season tickets is so you could grab them. That's the only reason you'd want them. That's what's happened with everybody who ever sat in that seat.
And?
Well, I don't have them. We don't have the fins no more, baby. We don't got the fish. Even though it's in my contract, I get Dolphin season tickets. So you know what I get instead?
Panther.
No, the money. I get the Panthers, too. I get the Marlins, I get the Panthers. And instead of the Dolphin season tickets, I just get the cash equivalent, okay?
Not bad.
Yeah, not bad. Heck of a deal, man. I wish I'd never gotten fat, 341. Well, we did. And look at us now. Like Don DeLuise said in Fatso, hey, Ma, look at your chubby boy now. Remember that?
That's
right. Look at your chubby baby now. I hate this poll, 184, 16.8%. They're just doing that to be bastards, that's all. They're just doing that to frost my ass, as if, like is that going to affect my next paycheck? I don't think so. How about yours? George got his bonus.
Yes, such as it was.
So if anybody wants a little part,
a little piece.
I wish I'd never gotten married, 135. Moved to South Florida, 127. I wish I never started doing drugs, 68. Started smoking, 47. There's too many choices on here, man. Takes about a half hour to read the poll. So if I read it twice, wish I'd never been born in South Florida, 33. Chosen to be gay, 27. Had children, 23. Come to America on my banana boat rubber tube, 19. Started drinking, 18. Gone to college or grad school, 16. Gotten divorced, 13. Started gambling, 13. I wish I'd never gone off to summer camp in the Adirondacks. No, I'm glad I went off to summer camp. Although I missed out on the really good fun.
Yeah.
I did. There was a kid at summer camp. His name was Mark Wishman. Now, do you know how many years ago that is? That's 48 years ago. And I can still remember his name. I was 16 years old. His name was Mark Wishman. He was like gay. And he used to, engage in certain activities with some of the other guys. I never got in those sessions, though. Damn it. I wish I'd never started wearing religious headgear, 9. That's not going to change. It's the same 9 Getchkis, I wish I'd never joined the military, 8. Voted for George W. Bush is up to 5. It's creeping because he's creepy, and you people who voted for him, you're creepier than he is. You make me want to caca. I wish I'd never been born, 4. Become diabetic, 3. And taken this job, none. That was Chris's idea, wasn't it? No, the caller.
That was the caller.
But you thought it was a good idea.
No, I like my job.
Oh. Do you like your job for the kind of money they're paying you? Well, you get free lunch every day anyway.
Well, I like my job.
It's not the pay.
Oh, you are such a suckhole, man. You're a good guy, but you just...
Well, I mean, I'm enjoying my job.
Well, that's good. We're happy. I'm glad that you're enjoying your job. See, I make it easy for you, right? Like George always tells people, if you knew how easy it was to work for you.
I already told you.
See, back in the beginning, at IOD, all the rumor, he's impossible to work for. He's a bastard. Yeah. And I don't
got enough
I don't give anybody any crap. I just, go with the flow. Everybody does a fine job, and I
didn't realize until after the fact that they were inept. I mean, anybody that can't do this job working with music.
Yeah. What's the big silliness about doing this job? The only difficulties we are confronted with are the obstacles placed by corporate in front of us, usually of a technical nature. If you catch my drift,
wait,
technical nature.
Please don't start talking bad, or the audio vault might crap out.
Oh, okay. I won't say it. 12 minutes past noon at QAM. Experience the difference, and
it just crapped out.
Friday, you bastard.
Oh! Coming up tonight on Inside the Behind the True Hollywood Celebrity Music Biography Profile Story. Even a great nation like the United States has had a few sorry blots in its history. There have been wars, there have been diseases, and there was disco.
Enough time has passed now that I can talk about it.
Mitch is the man who invented disco in his Clearwater, Florida basement back in the mid-1970s. Inside the Behind secured this interview on condition of anonymity, since a lot of people still want to kill this guy for sending real music into the toilet for half a decade.
Well, I still have the machine I made to create disco music right here. You can see when I turn the crank, it works much like a high-tech audio meat grinder. Into the top of the machine goes one of the 3 basic song subjects: dancing, dancing all night, and dancing like you're never going to stop. Toss in a few references to booty, and you're ready to go. Then you program in 120 beats per minute, and the final ingredient...
What is that you're dumping into the top of the machine?
Oh, that's the crap. Easy to find. So many people don't pick up after their dogs. Occasionally, when I've had beans for dinner,
That's fine.
And before you know it, you have a top-quality disco song. Yeah! Like the platform shoes? Get down, everybody! Ow!
Sorry. You just so totally deserved that. Disco. For rock and roll fans, it was our killing fields. It's a big, juicy, sopping wet look at show business. Tonight, on Inside the Behind.
Well, there's that Swillery.
The time, but if the shoe
Oh,
fits.
man, she makes me sick to my stomach. She's going to show her true color. She's already doing it. Speaking of a skin color, she's showing hers lily white. Pick it on Barack. I got news for you. He's got more charisma and more intelligence in his little finger than she's got in her whole nasty, spiny body.
She's a green persimmon-sucking prig.
He has come along just at the right time. You know what I'm saying? In other words, he's the guy that America's looking for right now is Barack Obama. I'm just telling you. He's got the intangibles. He's got the charisma. He's got the wisdom. He's got the intelligence. He's got the balls. He got it, baby. He the man. Haven't I told you that for a long time?
He's not black, though.
Well, look at that. It said vote Aki. Oh, if he's running, I'm voting for him. Oh, that's not the weather guy from CNN? I'm voting for Aki. And the good news is we got 1,110 votes. I'm going to leave you with a nice... You're going to have 1,200 by the end of the day, by 2 o'clock.
Oh, jeez.
Or I'm going to want to know why, I'll tell you that.
How about leave me with some good callers?
Oh, not this year.
If you
not
had
this
any,
year.
right?
I don't think that's in the cards.
If you had
Well,
any
what do you
to
mean
spare?
leaving you with some good callers? What does that mean? These people are all ready for you, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they are. They're loaded up. In fact, I wouldn't surprise. I'll leave you with a full board of calls if we did it. Remember the way it used to be when we put them on hold and screen the calls?
Sure.
Did we screen them like where they were from? Yeah, I guess we did, didn't we?
That's the only question we asked. And people didn't realize that they could make up an answer. People would always give me a hard time. Where are you? What if I don't want to tell you?
Yeah, like they would say Broward. You know, in other words, can't you tell us like Tamarack or Plantation or Fort Lauderdale? How about like a city? How about like a town? How about a neighborhood?
You'd
Something.
think that would be an easy question, but you would get almost every time every other answer except that. I'm in my house.
Well, let's see. WQAM, where are you calling from? Hello.
I'd like to add Jeopardy to the poll.
Yeah, okay. WQAM, hello. QAM.
Hey, Neil. Good afternoon.
Where are you calling from, sir?
I am calling from the West Coast, and naturally, that's where Parrish, Florida happens to be. It's right.
Oh, where this kid got kidnapped.
As you're going across the the Skyway from St. Pete, it's the first town you come to when you're going south.
You know, that's a beautiful thing. I like that Skyway. Remember when that old lady her car got caught over the edge of it and she was hanging there? She was hanging out. Remember that?
Remember it well.
Yes.
Hey, and two last things in closing. Go Lightning, and God rest the Blobster's soul.
Yeah, amen.
Take it easy, man.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend.
It's funny he mentioned it. As soon as he said something about the Skyway Bridge, I was thinking about Bob Lassiter. But it's hard that's something to believe, but it happens to the best of us. Dan Stewart's dead. Bob Lassiter is dead. All of these are things, happens to the best of us, George.
Yeah.
So, like I said, be nice to people while they're alive. Don't wait to pay tribute to people until after they're in the ground. It doesn't do them a bit of good, okay? They're not pleased by it. They're not impressed. They're not, Be nice to people when they're alive, okay? Give them a big kiss on the lips and a little tongue and whatever else they want, like that, or not. WQAM, hello.
Hey, I'm a white guy in Boca.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Pally.
Oh, a white a-hole in Boca. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize he was still alive either. That's a bad piece of news. Dave Friedman. I wonder whatever happened to Fat Boy. We don't hear from him anymore, thank God. Well, I knew there was something to really be excited about. I have a lot of exciting things going on, but...
Hiya, Pally!
The fact that he's kind of vanished. Maybe he croaked or something.
No.
Maybe he croaked and
don't conjure him up. He's lurking. He's right there behind the tree, beyond your peripheral vision.
Behind the stump.
Waiting,
he's behind
waiting
the...
to pounce.
It better be a big stump if he's hiding behind it, I'll tell you that. WQAM, hello. See, we're just warming these up for George at 1 o'clock.
Good.
QAM.
Give him a nice massage.
I'm the father.
Okay, good. And the Son and the Holy Ghost. QAM, hello.
Yeah, I wish I wasn't Cuban. I'm sorry.
I like that. Now, let's see. How's the poll worded? I wish I had never... that doesn't fit in. I wish I had never been born Cuban. Would that be okay? You're going to put that on there?
Well, we got the rubber wrap thing on there, and nobody that's Cuban is voting for that.
Well, we'll see. Okay, I wish I'd never been born Cuban. Well, that's cute. Now, is he sure that he's Cuban? They better check his skin color.
Yeah.
Now, why was it during Mariel? Is it my imagination? But during Mariel, now those African Cubans,
right?
You ever hear that expression? No, because there isn't any such expression.
We don't use that in Cuba.
Canadians.
We say negro.
Negro?
Which means black.
Is that like Schwarzer?
It means black.
You know, Mo used to get all bent out of shape. Well, he was bent out of shape with everything, but he was just looking for things. Oh, my God, did you hear what he said? Going to get a bullet in the head about all that other crap. There's nothing wrong with that. The word Schwarz in German and in Yiddish means black, means dark, black.
Yeah, but you're not saying Schwarz, you're saying Schwarzer.
And that's what I'm getting to. A man who is black is a Schwarzer in Yiddish, and a woman is a Schwarza. There's nothing. It all depends on the usage. It doesn't have to be a derogatory term. Of course, it usually is used that way, but nevertheless. Right?
Right. Like I said,
it all depends on the intent. It depends on the tone of the voice and the usage. It's like Goyim. You know, Goyim are just people who aren't Jewish. Anybody who isn't a Jew is a Goy.
Yeah.
Oy! See, that's where it came from. Goy. And there doesn't have to necessarily be anything derogatory about that, although there usually is. Too many Goyim.
Mm-hmm.
WQAM, hello.
For Goyim.
QAM.
To Goyish Welt.
Right. How you doing, Neil?
Okay, sir.
I sent you an email on MySpace.
Yeah.
I'm the one that the wife, I gave the money to the wife.
Oh, this is the guy that won $79,000 gambling, and he gave the money to the wife, and he wanted George to know, and I'm glad you mentioned it, because I forgot to tell George. This guy's more miserable than you are.
Yeah, I'm going to leave her now, you know. All right.
Tell me you want the $79,000 back first, though, pal. Good luck to you. Yeah, he sent me an email. A very sad guy.
Mm-hmm.
He won $79,000 gambling, gave it to the wife, and she blew all the money, of course, and now he's going to leave her ass.
Should have done that first.
Yeah, he should have. That's right. Left her ass and left town with the $79,000 would have been the smart thing to do. Hey, listen, nobody's perfect, man. You know the things that guys will do for love. You know, guys get all whipped up over that pink triangle, if I can say that on here. There's the Bermuda Triangle, and then there's the pink triangle. All of this stuff, you know. Guys get very emotional. Or some of them do. I don't, but that's the reason for that. In fact, I wrote him back. In fact, I think that was my response on the MySpace thing. I said, that's one of the reasons I thank the Lord that I don't have to get involved with all that surus, you know?
Yeah.
So it's a good thing I chose to be gay. So Parrish is over there on the West Coast, where that kid, and they're making a big deal out of it on CNN, Florida Amber Alert.
Bring them some good news before this day's over. I ask your help. I ask you to be diligent about this, as I know you will be, and get these pictures out for us.
Get these pictures out for us. That's Sheriff Charlie Wells of Manatee County. You know Manatee County, that's Bradenton, baby. Where they used to have the dog track, I believe, if I'm correct. In fact, when I was working over there in 73, this goes to show you, talk about a racist country. I think it was in Bradenton, or maybe it was the Sarasota Kennel Club. I can't recall. But at any rate, the remnants were still there. The markings of the separate toilets, you know, and the separate water fountains. And I think one said white and one said colored, and you know, they just hadn't gotten around to changing the wording on it yet, or whatever. You know,
let me ask you, what color were the colored toilets?
Orange.
Oh.
26 past noon at QAM. George is coming up at 1. That was just a little sample of what you got coming.
More where that came from.
The best talent. This is
Toilet.
Rogers.
Ooh, a presidential run. It might be fun. Are you gonna give it a try, Obama? Ooh, you make the voters run. Are you the one? Will we vote for the black guy, Obama? Never stop a rock. He's on top. It may be his time, but his name sounds like he's an Arab guy. My. Woo! Barack Obama. Barack Obama. Barack Obama.
Well, see, it's good news now that we know that he isn't really black. We don't have to worry about all them rednecks not voting for a black guy because he ain't black at all.
We better start circulating that information.
Yeah, man, better get that around, especially in all them red states, you know, all them Yahoo redneck states. See, they left half of the word off of that thing about the red states. It's redneck states, not red states. Redneck. Here's a great article by Margaret Kimberly on the Smirking Chimp, America the Stupid. And it starts with a quote from Republican Representative Todd Aiken of Missouri. He says, could you picture Davy Crockett at the Alamo looking at his BlackBerry, getting a message from Congress? Davy Crockett, we support you. The only thing is we're not going to send any troops. I'm sure that would really be impressive to Davy Crockett, he said. There's a sick, twisted logic to Aiken's idiotic analogy. The war with Mexico had a lot in common with the occupation of Iraq. white Americans decided they had a manifest destiny to establish a nation from sea to shining sea. Mexico wasn't accused of having WMDs, but American politicians told enough lies to start a war and steal more than half of Mexico's territory. It makes sense that an image from that era would be used to justify continued killing in Iraq. Most Americans were always dumber than people in the rest of the world, and their stupidity is getting worse by the day. The worship of white supremacy, religious fundamentalism, and capitalism are mostly responsible for the ever-lowering collective IQ. Those belief systems are mainstays of American thought and have now come together in a particularly ugly way. A member of the Texas State Legislature, Warren Chisholm, recently declared that the Earth doesn't move. According to Chisholm, the Sun and the other planets all revolve around the Earth. He isn't alone either. There's a new and outspoken group of people who are pushing the notion of geocentrism and insisting that it be called a science. Chisholm may have flunked science, but he passes the most important test in Texas. He believes in giving more public money to rich people. Chisholm, chairman of the Appropriations Committee of the Texas House of Representatives, has sponsored a bill that would give an enormous property tax cut to rich Texans. Chisholm's belief in robbing the public treasure for the good of the rich is no less ridiculous than pushing medieval ideas about science. Texas ranks last among the 50 states on what it spends on its citizens. It ranks high in the number of gun shows, air pollution, emissions, and number of children without health insurance. Of course, Texas has the fewest number of citizens with high school diplomas. Perhaps stupidity is Texas-centric. It is too easy to ridicule fundies who agree with the Inquisition that silenced Galileo in the 1500s. It's much harder to point out that there's an underlying stupidity that's responsible for most of what's wrong with this country. The U.S. government is still waging a war of aggression in Iraq because of willful American ignorance. Most Americans need little encouragement to occupy other nations, kill people, and steal their resources. They knew that Saddam Hussein had no connection to the terror attacks that took place on 9/11/2001, yet they were quite pleased to be done, and politicians heaved a collective sigh of relief when they got the go-ahead from a happily clueless public. American stupidity will be front and center on the world stage when the Bush administration attacks Iran. Few congressional leaders have expressed complete and vocal opposition to these awful plans. They've only said that the president doesn't have the authority to wage war. Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid said the president does not have the authority to launch military action in Iran without first seeking congressional authorization. The current use of force resolution for Iraq doesn't give him such authorization. Reid and his colleagues haven't said that they wouldn't give him authorization, only that he has to ask for it first. If Bush makes the case to a critical mass of the intellectually challenged public, or just starts bombing and dares Congress to stop him, he will have the war he has long sought. It isn't very likely that Americans will get smarter anytime soon. Politicians know that appealing to their worst instincts is usually a winning formula. The corporate-run media is not only unhelpful in enlightening the public, but is in fact complicit in keeping them in the dark. The New York Times is once again leading the charge in helping the Bush administration push bogus information. This time around, Iran is the boogeyman maligned by unnamed sources. It's déjà vu all over again. Belief in American superiority, and especially the superiority of white people, will always win the day and will always keep the nation ignorant. It isn't surprising that politicians evoke the name of Davy Crockett and peddle nonsense about the sun rotating around the earth. After all, leaders can only be a reflection of the people they serve. Told you that was pretty good stuff, huh?
Yeah, it was.
By Margaret Kimberly. I like her tissues, Margaret Kimberly. Does she make those Kimberly tissues?
No.
Oh. Well, how do you like that? It goes to show more misinformation. We don't want to be giving no bad information here on QAM, on your information station. When's that next newscast coming? I still, we've been on here over 9 years on this station. I still can't believe that this station never has a newscast.
Breaking news.
Yeah, break this. Here's the poll again, okay? I like this poll. There's nothing wrong with it, although 16.6% say they hate it. They hate it.
We hate it.
I wish I had never gained so much weight or gotten so damn fat and out of shape and pudgy like a big cow, 348. I hate this poll, 189. Like I told you, over 16.5%. Embarrassing. I wish I'd never gotten married, 140. Wish I'd never moved to South Florida, 131. See, I didn't vote for that. I voted for the fat thing. Because if I never moved to South Florida, I wouldn't be here with this posh job, sitting in my apartment in Toronto in my underwear. Although I do have my clothes on now, though. Got my pants and shoes and the shirt on. Aren't you proud?
No.
Wish I'd never chosen to be gay, 29. And let me say, if I hear any more stupid crap on that morning show about the gay journalist, and that's why the Tim Hardaway thing became a big story. Seriously, it's one thing to be stupid. It's another thing to pander to stupid people, but they bring it to a brand new level, A brand new level. The Kenny and Bo Morning Show, 7 to 10, preceding us. Oi, think you got problems. I wish I had never had children, 24. Wish I never started drinking, 19. Wish I hadn't come to America on my banana boat / inner tube, 19. See, I can say it, tube.
Tube!
He says it better. Wish I'd never gone to college or grad school, 17. Gotten divorced, 13. Started gambling, 13. Started wearing religious headgear. Oh, we got another one, 10. 10 Getchkis out there. And you people that make your kids wear those beanies to school, man, I want to scream at those parents, don't you?
Those are beanie babies.
Oh, are they? Voted for George W. Bush is up to 8, and you ought to be ashamed. You ought to apologize. You ought to get a megaphone and go out and stand on the street corner and say, I apologize to the civilized world if there is such a place. I wish I'd never joined the military, 8. Wish I'd never become diabetic, 7. See, that's got to move up there a little bit. That's creeping up. Don't do it, man. No more pizza, no more pasta, no more ice cream, no more cake, no more cookies, no more pie. In other words, nothing good. I wish you wasn't a lot of steak. You can add that meat, though. Big, juicy steak. Lobster. Lobster's good. Wish I'd never been born, 6. Wish I'd never taken this job, 2. And wish I had never been born Cuban, hasn't got any. What kind of a bigoted, nasty thing was that to put on there, George?
The biggest names, the best talent.
Exactly.
This is Neil Rogers.
Oh, God, Neil.
I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Travel, I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere. I've been to Reno, Chicago, Fargo, Minnesota, Buffalo, Toronto, Winslow, Sarasota, Wichita, Tulsa, Ottawa, Oklahoma, Tampa, Panama, Mattawa, Lafayette.
We're going to South Carolina, and Oklahoma, and Arizona, and North Dakota, and New Mexico, and Texas, and New York.
I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man.
We're going to California, and New York. We're going to South Dakota, and Oregon.
I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere.
And North Dakota, and New Mexico.
I've been to Boston, Charleston, Dayton, Louisiana.
And Oregon. We're going to California, and Texas.
Santa Fe, Tallapoosa, Glen Rock, Black Rock, Little Rock, Austin.
We're going to South Dakota, and Michigan.
Grand Lake, Devil's Lake, Crater Lake, Deep Lake. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Travel, I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere.
And then we're going to Washington, D.C. to take back the White House.
Poor Howie Dean, baby. We don't see him no more. Once in a while on the Talking Head shows, he'll pop up. You know, that's about it. 12:45 at 560 QM. And you know what he's living proof of?
Who? What?
Howard Dean. He's proof that...
The media is sick and needs help badly.
Right. They sure did a number on him, man. He never quite fully recovered from it. But nevertheless... Defense Secretary Robert Gates conducted a press briefing at the Walter Reed Medical Center, Washington, to announce the formation of an independent review group that will look into reports of unacceptable outpatient care for injured soldiers at the facility. According to a report in the Washington Post, physically and psychologically damaged soldiers at Walter Reed Army Medical Center are finding it difficult to get the outpatient care they need while awaiting either discharge or return to active duty. And Gates went on, bada beep, bada boop, bada bop. Yeah, we really take good care of our soldiers if by some miracle they come back in one piece or alive or like, you know, whatever. Not. It's the way it is. It's Zion America, man. 12:45, I think. Let's see, isn't this the last break? We'll do it now, and then George will have an extra 12 minutes.
No.
I would do that, too. No, I don't want people, just because I got my shirt and my pants and my shoes on, I don't want people to think that because I get off at 1 o'clock today. So just a little extra bonus travel time, that's all. What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
You know, I remember back in the day, and it goes to show you what a moron I am. Not that I got such a bad deal, but back in the day, do you remember at IOD when I used to have a vacation, I used to take off like Thursday and Friday plus the following week?
Yes, it was quite the scam.
Yeah, I had a really good scam. I mean, I could do that here, too, because that's the one thing I will say about this business. I can't say too much good about it. I mean, it's been good to me, but that's beside the point. But the one thing I will say is that they, generally speaking, as long as the final tubes are glowing and there's something on the air, they don't really give a crap how much time you take off. And of course, this station, they carry that to an extreme. How many days a year out of the 365 days in the year? How many days do we have like the full staff on?
About 30, man.
Maybe. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The morning show, whichever one happens to be at the time, and the big
rock solid
him, and then the Mad Dog and the Humper and Eddie K. Very seldom is everybody on there. Now, we're all on today. We got Mad Dog at 2, and then the Big Power Hour, and then the Humper from 5 to 6:50. And then we got Canes Baseball with the amazing Joe Zagacki.
Joe Zagacki sucks, okay?
Huh? And then you got the Canes and Elon is what that is. Wow, Elon. Remember that song by Elton John, Elon?
Yeah.
Paul Krugman writes, colorless green ideas. He says the factual debate about whether global warming is real or is at least should be over. The question now is what to do about it. Aside from a few dead-enders on the political right, climate change skeptics seem to be making a seamless transition from denial to fatalism. In the past, they rejected the science. Now, with the scientific evidence pretty much irrefutable, they insist that it doesn't matter because any serious attempt to curb greenhouse gas emissions is politically and economically impossible. Behind this claim lies the assumption, explicit or implicit, that any substantial cut in energy use would require drastic change in the way we live. To be fair, some people in the conservation movement seem to share that assumption, but the assumption is false. Let me tell you about a real-world counterexample, an advanced economy that's managed to combine rising living standards with a substantial decline in per capita energy consumption and managed to keep total carbon dioxide emissions more or less flat for 2 decades, even as both its economy and its population grew rapidly. And it achieved all this without fundamentally changing a lifestyle centered on automobiles and single-family houses. It achieved all these things. The name of the economy? California. California. There's nothing heroic about California's energy policy, but that's precisely the point. Over the years, the state has adopted a series of conservation measures that are anything but splashy. They're the kind of drab, colorless stuff that excites only real policy wonks. Yet the cumulative effect has been impressive, if still all short of what we really need to do. The energy divergence between California and the rest of the U.S. dates from the 1970s. Both the nation and the state initially engaged in significant energy conservation after that decade's energy crisis. But conservation in most of America soon stalled. After a decade of rapid progress, improvements in auto mileage came to an end, while electricity consumption continued to rise rapidly, driven by the growing size of houses, the increasing use of air conditioning, and the proliferation of appliances. All of these things. In California, by contrast, the state continued to push policies designed to encourage conservation, especially of electricity, and these policies worked. People in California have always used a little bit less energy than other Americans because of the mild climate. But the difference has grown much larger since the 70s. Today, the average Californian uses about a third less total energy than the average American, uses less than 60% as much electricity, and is responsible for emitting only about 55% as much carbon dioxide. How did the state do it? In some cases, conservation was mandated directly through energy efficiency standards for appliances and rules governing new construction. Also, regulated power companies were given new incentives to promote conservation via rule changes that decoupled their profits from the amount of electricity they sold. And yes, a variety of state actions had the effect of raising energy prices. In the early 1970s, the price of electricity in California was close to the national average. Today, it's about 50% higher. Incidentally, since someone is bound to mention it, the California energy crisis of 2000 and 2001 has nothing to do with this story. That crisis was caused by market manipulation. We've got it on tape, made possible by ill-conceived deregulation, not by conservation. Back to California's success. As the higher price of power indicates, conservation didn't come free. Still, it's striking how invisible California's energy policy remains. It's easy to see why New York has much lower per capita energy consumption than, say, Georgia. It's a matter of high-rise versus sprawl, mass transit versus driving alone. It's less obvious that Los Angeles is a much greener city than Atlanta, but it is. So is California a role model for climate policy? No and yes. Even if America as a whole had matched California's conservation efforts, we'd still be emitting about as much carbon dioxide now as we were in 1990. That's too much. But California's experience shows that serious conservation is a lot less disruptive, imposes much less of a burden than the skeptics would have it. And the fact that a state government with far more limited powers than those at Washington's disposal has been able to achieve so much is a good omen for our ability to do a lot to limit climate change if and when we find the political will. That's Paul Krugman's take today. Mm-hmm. And speaking of Judge Larry, there's a scathing article. Do I have time for it? I guess I do, in the Sun-Sentinel.
Please.
Or is this in the Herald? It's in the Herald, excuse me. If it's in the Herald, I better not read it. It says, Judge Larry had the gavel, but he took the raps. The judge who has presided over the Anna Nicole Smith hearing became part of the TV drama to the chagrin of some of his colleagues. Echmer, a judge. Colleagues snickered about his courtroom demeanor. He talked too much. He was way too emotional. I want her to be buried with a son. Legal analysts derided his professional judgment, and in the end,
Rectum.
He issued a questionable ruling that left the real decision to somebody else. Yesterday, Broward Circuit Judge Larry Seidlin weepily presiding over closing arguments on where to bury Anna Nicole Smith, a flamboyant woman whose job descriptions included stripper, reality TV star, and Playboy centerfold. People called the newspaper, the Florida Supreme Court, and Broward's chief judge to complain about him. I can't believe the judge, said Alan Davis, 45, who works in the mailroom at the Auto Nation building across the street from the Broward County Courthouse in downtown Fort Lauderdale. He joined dozens of gawkers outside yesterday, waiting for the various factions to emerge. He's just a big drama queen, Davis said. He's putting on a show. This is not about the judge. And he's crying. He's crying over there. Despite the criticism, Seidlin, 56, kept up his soliloquies until the last day, veering off to talk about Camelot and Smith's admiration for Marilyn Monroe. He nicknamed witnesses, joked with lawyers about getting a drink, and offered them juice and sandwiches when their blood sugar levels sank. His time in the spotlight has even fueled speculation that he might be in line for a Judge Judy-type show. At the end, he issued his ruling. He acknowledged the media pressure that one lawyer termed network necrophilia. She had to live all her life with that attention, Seidlin said of Smith. I just got a week and a half, and it's ready to flatten me down, he said. Few lawyers or judges, or even former judges, wanted to publicly criticize Seidlin, but South Florida's legal networks buzzed with concern that the judge was giving their profession in South Florida a poor showing. Last week, several of Seidlin's colleagues approached him with some advice. They persuaded him to move the proceedings out of his chambers into a courtroom. They convinced him it would look more judicial and professional on television, said Skip Campbell, a trial lawyer and former state senator who ran for attorney general last year, and who's been friends with Seidlin for more than 30 years.
About 30, man.
Campbell represented Seidlin in a 94 lawsuit against a garage door manufacturer. He and State Representative Jack Seiler, a lawyer who's tried cases in front of Seidlin, went to him with some pointers on how to handle the case and the attention. Larry Seidlin is one of the sweetest guys around, Campbell said. He's a judge who feels that justice should be administered using common sense as opposed to some of the more rigid rules of the court. That may not look dignified on TV, but has its place, Seiler said. Seidlin spent much of his 3 decades on the bench in juvenile court where his touchy-feely, emotional approach was appreciated. Obviously, people watching this proceeding may disagree with his style, Seiler said. It's a different style than we're used to seeing on TV. He's a judge who's very thoughtful and very caring, and sometimes that's not the style of judge people are used to. And maybe in this proceeding, that's not the best style. Some blame the frenzied atmosphere more on the tawdry nature of the case and Smith's life and death. It was disturbing to me to see all this focus and attention to a body, said Coral Gables lawyer David Deal. It was really like a circus atmosphere. But Deal, who once had a body custody case of his own, praised Seidlin's decision to give custody of Smith's body to Richard Milstein, whom Seidlin appointed to look out for her baby's interest in the case. He's just a wonderful person and has great judgment, Deal said of Milstein. How do you like that?
All right.
Milstein, not of the judge. Seidlin's critics say he failed to rein in 3 tables of lawyers who are happy to be appearing on live TV for days on end. Sometimes there's a tendency for lawyers to be very happy to be in a highly publicized case, said Judge E. Preminger, former New York probate judge who oversaw the heiress Doris Duke's estate, as well as that of artist Andy Warhol. A judge has to fight back, too. But Preminger, who is now in private practice in New York, also said Seidlin's getting a bad bum rap. Yes, he's a bit garrulous. Yes, he shares his thought with the parties in the courts a good deal, she said. That's a style thing more than anything else. We judges are vain and try to look elegant and important, and he doesn't, but that's okay. No, he's just a little bit like that. I wanted to be buried with the sun. Oh. Well, he got into it, you know. There's nothing wrong with people who get into their work, right? Like George. George is going to be into his work very deeply between 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. Because I'm gone, man.
Chewing on a cough drop, getting ready.
Yeah, I bet you are. That's right. Get those tonsils all cleaned out now for that 1 to 2 hour. That's right. Otherwise, we'll slap that tape on. And the good news is, look at what good hands you're lifting. 1,164 votes. You got that 1,200 votes sideways to Saturday.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers.
George Rodriguez was a woman with a man in mind. On 560 WQAM.
I don't give a rat's ass about him.
I was a lonely, hairy man. My life was second rate. And on a scale from 1 to 10, my naked body was a 4.8. It's so hard to be a Don Juan when you got a chinchilla wrapped around your... I tried scissors. I tried waxing. but that pain is in the past. Now I'm just relaxing with the Philips Bodygroom. The convenient, simple, and gentle way to make your genitals bloom. Now I've got one more optical inch upon my. Research has shown I've got the best set of on the block. My is going public. I suggest you buy the stock. Before I groomed, I'd wait by the phone, but no one called. Now the phone, it won't stop ringing because my is nearly bald. My love life was slow, like an antiquated dial-up modem. Now it's gone broadband with my new silky scrotum. She burns the incense. That's right. She lights the sconce. But what really sets the mood is my tightly trimmed. We want to thank you, my thank you. Thank you, Philips Bodygroom. Thank you, Philips Bodygroom.
You know, that sounded an awful lot like a commercial. It's because it was. And that's what we were talking about the other day when we backed into that website. Neil read the article. We were talking about the shaving, and I checked out the website, one of the funniest websites you can spend some time on, the ShaveEverywhere.com website designed to pimp that device, the Philips Bodygroom. And Gary Sarner continues to be a bunghole. He only ever comes in here when it is either he wants something from us, or to sandbag me. Like the time the Dickens Cider Beverage guy was in here. And he came in here because he wanted to buy some spots on these George's Filling In for Neil Summer show, because that's the kind of thing that we talk about. And he spent the entire time in here pitching Pharrell to the guy. When all the guy wanted was some. Miguel was here for it. Miguel brought him in. We were looking for a real sales hole. There wasn't one around, so Miguel brought Gary Sarner in here, the only one around, so that the guy could get some quotes. He had a budget. He wanted to know what that budget was able to get for him. Gary didn't answer his question, just spent the whole time saying, how ridiculous it was to want to advertise, with me, the guy that he had heard talking about the product in the first place, and that he should be on with Pharrell because Pharrell calls his wife 34C.
That sounds like
that's Gary.
Normal
Gary,
thing.
He just jumped up and down, flapping his arms the whole time. You're an absolute bunghole, Gary Sarner. Because come to find out, we had crates of these things, these Philips Bodygroom things, laying around. I could have actually, scored one for free and, reciprocated all this free publicity that we're getting instead of having to buy one, which I did. And to answer your question, Miguel, before we went on the air, because I asked him how long ago was that, and all he gave me was crap. You sound like Neil. Talk about archaic, out of touch, and you're a young guy. I can understand old men like Neil not understanding that hair is out. But you, and I was one of the most militant people in the world, especially us mountain men. We never heard from taking metal below the belt. And that includes chicks with braces either. Just ask my friend Hairlip Larry about that one. Oh yeah, he's the one. He had a lot of adventures. I got adventure stories. We all have our adventure stories. They all pale compared to the adventures of Hairlip Larry and all of the things that he got into, including the braces story. But we had boxes of these things, and to answer your question, Miguel, it wasn't for me. See, I didn't just want to come out and say for me, although I might wind up using it because, and as we discussed years ago with Joe Costello, who we all made fun of, and it turns out that he was right, and the rest of us were wrong. The girls below a certain age, younger than, say, 50, they don't want Wooly Bully anymore. That's out. And I made fun of Joe and everybody, and intern Shannon was in here going, looking at me, shaking her head going, dude, I ain't going anywhere near a crotch that's got hair on it. So, but the thing is that it comes with attachments so that you can have a nice fade if you want. You can have the feathered David Cassidy do if that's something that you want to do. You just got to take some of the length off. I mean, you look like Chewbacca. if you don't take some of the length off. But originally it wasn't for me. We had a dilemma. We had a dilemma in the household with regards to what to remove, excess with. And nobody was talking about shaving. They just wanted to, we all wanted to take some of the matter off there, get things under control, so to speak. And I did some research independently, not even knowing that there was this whole campaign going on just a few doors down in the hallway, and that we actually had a forklift loading and unloading these devices into the building, and I could have scored one. But thanks, Gary Sarner. Thanks for nothing. All the buffering that I do for him, all the pimping and and advocate for his products on his behalf that I do for, between him and Neil, which I get nothing out of. It's just, I got to stop being nice. Would you remind me, Miguel, to stop being nice to people, especially people that hate me and talk nothing but crap behind my back and talk about how nobody wants to advertise when I'm on the air, even though the ratings are higher when I'm on the air than anybody else on the station except for Neil, but I'm not supposed to say that? Yeah, it smells like swamp gas in here because of the guys in the roof. They're right above our head right now, pouring septic tank juice down the vents.
Hey, at least they're not banging right now, trying to
hit
you in the head.
That's at least better. At least the audience can appreciate that. That's something we can all share with the audience. The sound effects, the stench of sewage gas, that's just for us. We're the special ones. So anyway, I ordered it from Amazon, the Philips Bodygroom, and I wish that I had a good report, but nobody has actually used it properly yet. We just kind of played around with it. So far, so good though. And it shaves in any direction, especially forwards and backwards, because that's the big problem. Everything's moving around down there. And if you have a device that only shaves in one direction, then you got to turn the device around or your hand around or somehow stand on your head. But this thing, if you push it, if you pull it, it's doing work no matter which direction it's going in. It's great. And it's got the nice, comfortable, rounded edges and the plastic devices, but I haven't really gone south with it yet, if you know what I mean. Did the backs of my arms. Look at this. Look at the backs of my arms there. Nice?
Yeah, okay, sure.
You used to have when you're young, and you got all kinds of problems. And not only are you bald on your head, you've got more hair growing out of your ears than Yoda. Have you noticed that? Did you know that?
Going out of my ears?
You have tufts of hair growing out of your ears.
No.
You look like a Dr. Seuss character.
No.
I mean, I know you've got enough issues. Not on the ears, in your ear. That's where it starts, and then it just spills out of there. You could braid that stuff. How do you not see that in the mirror? Miguel, tell the man he's got giant hair. You don't even have to get close to him. You don't have to get close. I can see it from here. It's a forest in there. It's a redwood forest in there. There's old-growth lumber going in there. There's a chick sitting in a tree inside Chris's ears in there. It's so hairy. So if somebody else has used this, you can share your own experiences with it. I read that, on Amazon they have all these reviews that people post, and I was reading reviews for a whole lot of devices, and a lot of devices, even the $100 ones, were getting really poorly reviewed and saying stuff. Now here's another important feature that was important for me. It's got to be something that you can take into the shower with you. We tried other methods.
Yes, I remember you talking about it.
Messy, you got to do a lot of sweeping, towels, buckets of water are involved. Two-person operation, people propping their legs up on things. It's just, and there, it's a logistical nightmare, is what it is. But the angle of the head of this thing and the microfilm and so far so good. I'll let you know. Just stay tuned. But I just wanted to take the time. No, Chris is not going to borrow it afterwards.
No,
or beforehand. Good God Almighty. What a notion. It won't fit in his ears anyway. I don't know where it'll fit, and I don't want to know. Now we got an hour to kill, and I'm really torn because Neil doesn't get the Comedy Bit CDs until at the end of the week, but I have the ability. Well, he has the ability too. He just doesn't want to download some fresh ones. So here we have the same Britney bit done to different kinds of music because that's all anybody's talking about: the Anna Nicole's carcass and Britney's shaved head. Remember a few months ago we were talking about Britney's shaved self and how yucky it turned. It wasn't that. It was the Frankenstein scar right above it. The C-section scar, the big jagged purple glow in the dark scar right above it. No offense to all you C-section ladies out there. They should put a zipper in some of you people like her. for example. Did you see the latest footage before I tangent off? Her banging on the car window with the umbrella. Here, she was at K-Fed's house, banging on the door, wanting to be let in to see the kids. Now, when you're crawling around on your hands and knees outside of his house, begging him for anything, that's rock bottom. You know how people, when they drink or they do drugs, they talk about, oh, they just haven't hit rock bottom yet. Guess what, honey? That's rock bottom. When you are in a prone position, in a supplicant's position before Kevin freaking Federline, there is nothing lower than that. We used to think there was nothing lower than him.
Yeah,
Surprise.
How scary has it become that he went from being the crazy one to the
the
sane
crazy
one of that
dirtbag
relationship.
deadbeat. He's the more responsible parent. He might get custody because he's the more responsible parent. You know he has 2 other children with that, what's her, Shar Jackson, I think, who is a cutie, but she has other children besides the one that she has with his. Everybody's just breeding and popping kids out all over the place. It's all the rage. Did you hear about the China story? That's been on news.
Which China
I'm
story?
wearing the China shirt today. My friend just got back from China, brought us some souvenirs. They're all having these kids. There's a population boom in China, of all the places that need to have a population boom, because this is the year of the golden pig. It's good luck to be born in the year of the golden pig. It's not just the year of the pig. You know the Chinese zodiac goes by the year. But apparently there's more to it than that. It's not just the year of the pig. It's the year of the golden pig for some reason. And so everybody's working feverishly. They already have been working feverishly to have a kid born this year. So big old population boom in China. Speaking of China, my friend who came back, and obviously he's a little jaded because he's whatever, Oedipus. But here's one thing. I mean, I know that he's blue skying his Chinese event, but he says that in China's a very big country, just like the USA is a big country, and they take flights to different cities within China, from one city to another city. He says there getting on a plane is like getting on a bus. No shoes off, no searching, no this, no that. You go to the airport, you park, you walk in, you get on, if you either have your ticket or you buy your ticket, the plane's supposed to go at this time, boarding now, you go. It's like getting on the bus.
Well, they don't have terrorism there,
Gee, why? They have issues with Muslims as well. They have a lot of Muslims there. He was telling us all about it. He got some pictures. They've got provinces, especially in the southern portions, where they have a huge Muslim population. I think it's funny when the Chinese are, when they have something going on that we have to be jealous of, that we have to envy, then we're in trouble.
Correct.
I thought it was supposed to be we get to make fun of them. They're in the Stone Age and they eat dog and stuff like that. It's been a long time.
According to him, they don't do that anymore.
No, well, they don't do it any less either. He said that they weren't eating dogs anywhere where he was, but they do it in other areas. And I'm thinking, well, then that's the place to go. What's the point to going to China? What's the point if you can't get some dog or some cat or or some opium or a slave stuffed with opium, which you never did bring me? 1:15 on All Opium Radio, 560 QAM.
To see the girl he's shopping at the mall. Never has a date but owns a blow-up doll. Sick, twisted, pervert man. He's living in the basement at his parents' place. At 37 still is acne on his face. His hair's greasy and his shirt's filthy. He was on To Catch a Predator on NBC. Writes about his rage on his MySpace page. He's a girl talking dirty, talking pervert lamb. A girl's talking dirty, talking pervert lamb.
I want to come over and bring you beer and pot and talk really dirty to you.
He's on his computer in his Fruit of the Looms, trying to score in all the chat rooms, sending naked pictures from his online cam. If you're lucky, maybe it'll go to spam. He's a scary troll with a hairy mole. He's a girl talking dirty, talking pervert man. A girl talking dirty, talking pervert man.
I have access to my mom's country squire station wagon all weekend. Maybe we can take a ride? Yeah, let's take a ride.
He'll make your skin crawl. This guy named is Bowling Ball. You'll want him to leave. He's a total skeeve. He's a girl talking dirty, talking pervert man. A girl talking dirty, talking pervert man.
You want to make a movie with me? I got a great collection of porn movies, and I star in most of them, but I'm alone in it. You look so hot. You'd look great stuffed in my closet with a black apple in your mouth.
Likes to go on vacation to Thailand. his leather underpants make him wanna dance. He's a girl talking dirty, talking pervert man. A girl talking dirty, talking pervert man.
Okay, you know how many votes there are on the poll right now? I don't know, and I don't care. I don't know why. I know it's just a game that he plays with himself, and whatever. I don't. I wish I'd never, come to South Florida. I sure, I'm dealing with this, and you hear it every morning. I cracked Josh up the other morning. He ran to Miguel just all red faced because he heard me yelling at my mom on the phone in Spanish.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Most people, because I'll go a long time amongst my peer group without them having ever heard me speak Spanish. So a lot of people forget that I actually can, after a fashion, speak Spanish. And here's the funny thing: you might think this is funny, or maybe, dude, I'm swooning from the smell of tar and funk, and we're gonna pass out. Workman's work hazard, workman's comp hazard. Let's just fall. Let's just swoon and pretend that this is burning my eyes. Anyway, ironically, since I don't have a good relationship with my mother, that's to say the least, the Spanish that I speak is best when I'm speaking with her, and really the best when I'm angry and speaking with her, which is almost all the time.
So we got to hear the best of the best.
You got to hear the best of the best, and it started out with me going, cállate, 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 because she'll answer the phone, and just start talking about a whole bunch of blathering nonsense that has nothing to do with the issue at hand. And the issue at hand is some construction going on a piece of property that she owns in North Carolina, and somehow I got to straighten out the fact that some beaner up there is doing work without a permit, because she was told that you wouldn't need a permit by either Buster Rupert Beale's houses, or him or whoever, and I gotta straighten it all out. But the people are so nice. Can you imagine? And I was starting to tell you this during the break. Can you imagine saying to someone down here, "Hey, go out to my house, drain the septic tank, replace the filter, and send me the bill. Whatever it is, I trust you." Can you imagine saying that to someone in Florida?
Yeah, no.
No, but that's what I'm doing, and I have nothing but confidence that I will not get ripped off. What? Yeah, exactly. They're pumping someone's septic tank, maybe our own, and pouring the contents into the roof, making sure that it spills into the vents that are feeding our studio right now. I'm going to swoon. So I got a letter here from Gilbert.
Oh,
before I go on, because I tangented off and I never came back, you've got to be the bookmark, the tangent anchor, because I'll tangent from tangents. You got to keep a scorecard going. I have a whole bunch of Britney montages, Britney going crazy montages. One is to the tune of Had a Bad Day, the other one is Crazy Train, and the other one is Let's Go Crazy. There's a theme here if you didn't notice. All right, I like Crazy Train best, so we'll use that one. Speaking of crazy, here's a letter from Gilbert. Gilbert Solomon, ladies and gentlemen. A bad person. No, I can't say the things that I want to say about him. There are people who have low IQ, who are mentally challenged, who are X bricks short of a load, however you want to put it, that are good people. And there are those that suffer similarly who are bad people and everything in between. Just because you have a low IQ, that has nothing to do with whether you're a good person or a bad person. Gilbert Solomon, you are a bad person, all right? You're a lot of other things that I could call you, but we can't say them on the air anymore. All of those bad, negative words that you could call someone, that's what you are, Gilbert. But here's a letter. Dear George Rodriguez, spelled, and
I'm just surprised you can read that from what I can see. It looks worse than chicken scratch.
I need help. There really needs to be a battery of scientists. The people that decipher the hieroglyphics.
That's what I was just thinking. It's hieroglyphics from over here. Yeah.
The anthropologists, archaeologists, the people that can read Sanskrit. We need them to see what Gilbert has written. I was promised a friendly phone call when Neil Rogers came to 560 WQAM the first day 9 years ago, and I haven't downloaded public. I can only read what I can read, and not having one outdoor show for the public. I don't even know what that means. Neil Rogers lied to me on the radio on WIOD 610 AM to invite me to Wrigley Field to sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game with Harry Carey. It did not happen. It is wrong. I was never invited to a game. I know that Neil Rogers had, what's that? Ben Laden? Had a Ben Laden worker across the street when Neil Rogers was living. Had a Ben Laden worker. What? What does that mean? Is that his way of saying? Is that his way of taking an ethnic shot?
Yes, I think
at someone of possibly Arabic ancestry? who may or may not have been associated with Neil. Gilbert, so you're a bigot on top of everything else, Gilbert. What a surprise.
Across the street when Neil Rogers was living in Sunrise, Florida, I was listening to WIOD, and it was the show the next day after 9/11. That is why Neil Rogers moved to Toronto.
Oh, I see.
Wait, but 9/11, he was
right here, Gilbert. So you're more than just a few bricks short. You're completely bonkers.
Help me! I know that you were working with Steve Kane and Nick Lawrence at 610 WIOD and told you to hate me.
Oh, is that what happened?
Nick and Steve hated me when Nick had said 790 WNWS. Please turn over.
This is great. Never in my life.
Instructions to
Never
turn
in my
over.
life have I gotten a letter that was on front and back, 2-page letter, where someone bothered to tell me to turn the page over at the bottom. But wait, he says please turn over, but then there's more under that on the same side here.
Well, maybe you're supposed to turn
Yes,
over.
it was wrong. I was not invited to the football Super Bowl game.
It does say supper, but I'm cleaning it up.
George Rodriguez, it's wrong that I was never invited to the game or one call. You are going to be in big-time trouble with the FCC and the police. The FCC and the police are going to get your...
Fanny?
Fanny. They mean it this time. George Rodriguez, you are a mean bastard. Go to hell. Sincerely, Gilbert Solomon. P.S. George, you and Neil Rogers and half of your clowns at WQAM are going to be fired.
Yes, you are the clowns.
Fired on having OPEC agency office in an OPEC country.
Huh?
Apparently, we have an OPEC office in an OPEC country.
That's interesting.
That must mean we got some bucks.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Where is it?
Like what happened to my bonds?
My
I
what?
have.
Wait, my what?
I have bonds.
Help me.
Slipe from New York before I moved down here to Florida in July 1986. Bill Clinton, said the rich must pay OPEC agency office to got busted in OPEC country.
I wish there was more to this. Gilbert, you're a crazy person, so I know that nothing that I say will have any effect on you, just like I know that nothing that I say will have any effect on any of the crazy people out there whose actions are far beyond their control, and it's not up to you. But here, just for your sake and just for the audience in the name of just talking out loud, just so that everybody understands the history of Gilbert Solomon and the Neil Rogers Show and where I fit into this, where I don't want to. Neil Rogers had already told Gilbert to take a flying leap long before I became the producer of the Neil Rogers Show.
Now, when did you first produce for Neil?
1990. And as I asked for instructions, Neil said, I said, who should I put on, who should I not? I didn't understand. Every other show did real heavy screening. I know we're late for a break, but whatever. Every other show did really heavy screening, and I was asking Neil, what's the procedure on this show? And he said, just put everybody through. I'll let you know who not to put through as they call. Gilbert was among the first, if not the first person that Neil said, that's one I don't want to hear from ever again. And so, when Gilbert called every other time subsequently, and he would say this, I want to talk to Neil Rogers, he would say that in Gilbert voice. And I would say, very simply, the same thing that I say to everyone else that Neil doesn't want to talk to. I would say, no, and then hang up the phone and take another call. That's how screening was done for many, many years. If I heard a voice that was someone that Neil had already told me that he didn't want to talk to anymore, I would say no. They would say something like, can I talk to Neil Rogers, or something to that effect, and I would say no. I wouldn't say something to that effect. I would just say no and hang up the phone and take another call. The calls came in continuously. So there you are, Gilbert. I never did anything to you, even though you called the office and made up a whole bunch of crap saying that I was calling your house and making death threats and all this other crazy cuckoo banana stuff, because you are bonkers. All right, you were as nutty as a bag of mixed nuts. But I never did anything to you other than my job, other than hanging up on you the way that I was told to by Neil. Neil is the one that didn't want you on the show anymore. Neil is the one that didn't want to talk to you anymore. Neil is the one that has an issue with you. It wasn't my job to decide who Neil wanted to talk to. If I had any influence on the show in those days at all, about who Neil talked to or who Neil put on the show. Rimmer, I would have kicked Rimmer out of the studio with the first word out of his mouth. I would have said, who the hell are you, and get the F out of here. Neil would spend a lot of time talking to a lot of people that I didn't particularly care for. It's none of my business. It's the Neil Rogers Show. He talks to whoever he wants to, Gilbert, and that includes you. I understand that he used you for material for a long time there, and when he didn't want to talk to you anymore, Rick and Suds used you for a lot of time, until you wore out your welcome with their show. But it has nothing to do with me, Gilbert. All right? And in substituting for Neil Rogers, I would have possibly entertained some phone calls from Gilbert Solomon and made a fool out of you the way that so many other people had, if not for the fact that you had, that you decided to be the kind of person that you are, Gilbert. So please go die, and good luck with this OPEC business. That's bizarre. That's a good one. Thank you, Gilbert. Help me kill a segment. 29 till 2 on All Gilbert Radio, 560 QAM.
What is up with Britney Spears? Drinking tequila from a bottle.
I hope for her sake that she gets a grip on herself.
Britney appeared distraught. And a puddle of what appears to be vomit is visible in the back seat. She grabbed the clippers and shaved off all of her...
All right, let's play the same bit. Different music.
What is up with Britney Spears? Drinking tequila from a bottle.
I hope for her sake that she gets a grip on herself.
Britney appeared distraught. And a puddle of what appears to be vomit is visible in the back seat. She grabbed the clippers and shaved off all of her hair.
A lot of shaving going on, isn't it?
3 days later, Spears checked into rehab. She and her mother had a fight before she sheared off her hair.
Britney Spears reportedly said she shaved off her hair because she was, quote, tired of everybody touching me.
Bald, tattooed woman
cry out for help for Britney. Driving with her son Sean in her lap.
I'm going off the rails on a crazy train. Did Britney Spears check into rehab only to check? I'm going off the rails on a crazy train.
Britney took the shears herself.
Self-destructive.
I'm going off the rails on a crazy train.
What happened to Britney Spears?
Okay, she's insane. Crazy!
There, that's better. 22 till 2, 560 QAM. Oh, so grad. So grad, it's Friday. Why am I sounding like a Japanese person all of a sudden? So a lot of shaving going on. And look at this. I whined and moaned, and I got me another one of these Bodygroom kind of things. So now we can have his and hers. Not that I was really worried about the cross-contamination anyway. I mean, when you're already grinding groins with someone, it doesn't really matter if you share the old razor. No, I don't let my daughter use our shaving devices, just so you know. Good God Almighty, got to draw the line somewhere. I'm gonna get my Dremel and engrave my name in on this one, or otherwise get a Sharpie. Just 'cause.
Well, that doesn't work here. Will that work at home?
No. When you're married, it's like what's mine is yours, what's yours is mine. It's almost like that. What's mine is hers.
And what's hers is hers.
And what's hers is hers. And it ends like that. So I know, because we were talking about it before the show, or earlier in the week, that wife swap on Monday. Speaking of crazy people, it's been such a long time since I'd heard the term high meat, and they had the wife swap with these people who, the self-sufficiency thing is good, but they don't believe in cooking anything.
Yeah, I'd never heard of it high meat before, so that
you had it. It goes by people. I keep reminding people, yes, you've heard it. You saw Greystoke, and when they're at the table, one of the guys is talking about the pheasant. Oh, it's very high. It's very high. You might not like it. It's an acquired taste.
Okay, well, it's been years since
in Monty Python, The Meaning of Life, with Mr. Creosote, the big fat guy, John Cleese goes, the hair is very high. Right?
I guess when I saw those, I was a little younger.
You ever see Shogun?
Yes.
I'm going to hang this duck out until it gets nice and high. It goes right over all of our heads, even me for the longest time. But that's what that means. Rotting meat. They would put the raw meat into these jars and let it rot. And they thought bacteria is just good. See, don't smell the bug spray. Don't smell the bug spray, because the bug spray, that doesn't know if you're a human or a cockroach, so it's bad for you. But bacteria is good. They didn't believe in cleaning. And the woman, speaking of shaving, this is what reminded me of all that. The woman had never shaved ever, and as gross as it was to see them reach into the jar of the rotting meat, I think I was more grossed out by this woman lifting her. You saw it. We were talking about it.
Yeah, lifting the towel or whatever it was while she was in the shower.
She lifted her arm up.
Oh, that one, yes.
And And there it was. I'm looking. And her legs, she would have gone through, I don't know how many razors it would have taken for her. Her legs were woolly. She looked like a Sasquatch. She looked like a Yeti. And after one meal at the restaurant and a shower and a little bit of soap, all of a sudden she looked good. Her hair looked good. This whole family, the whole family of raw meat-eating people, they had bags under their eyes. They had the red-rimmed eyes. Their gums looked like they were on the verge of bleeding. They all looked anemic. They all were spotty, like they had zits and blemishes and spots everywhere. And they're trying to convince everybody, oh, no, this is a healthy lifestyle. And when the doctor is telling the husband that, no, it's not really, that, oh, what studies are you referring to? What studies have been done? It's like, well, the study of common sense. The study that meat smells really good when it's cooking, that it's activating, receptors in our brain, making us know that, hey, now is the time to eat it because you can smell it. And smell it cooking, and it's really good. The study that cooking meat makes it more tender and easier to digest. That study. How about that? Have you tried that? But, there are all kinds.
I had to laugh, though, when the kids were having the stomach aches the next day after having the first time real food.
Yeah.
And, well, what'd you expect?
They were so melodramatic. They were so playing it up. QAM, hello.
Hello.
QAM, hello.
George.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, is this OPEC 560?
It is OPEC 560. I had no idea we had an OPEC account. And,
do me a favor, buddy.
By the way, Osama bin Laden is running the board today. What?
I jumped in the car 20 minutes ago. I heard you reading the letter out loud, but just the end part. What happened with that retard Gilbert?
Nothing. He wrote a letter. It's a bunch of rambling nonsense about Neil Rogers promised him this and promised to take him to Wrigley Field to sing Take Me Out to the Ballgame with Harry Carey. Gilbert is loaded. He can go to Wrigley Field right now. He could buy freaking Wrigley Field.
Put that thing on the website so we can see it.
I should scan this and put it up.
You should scan it and put it on the website, and I'll read it tonight, buddy.
We'll be working on it. Good luck deciphering it.
I don't know. I don't know who's worse, him or Ron. What do you think?
You need a secret agent decoder ring. Ron?
Ron?
Yes?
All right. Bye.
All right. Bye. QAM, hello. Hello. I'm just going to be late for breaks all this hour, Chris, all right? Hey.
Hey, George.
What's up?
If any harm comes to Gil.
QAM, hello.
Hey, what's worse? Hey, how you doing, George?
Fine. What's worse?
What's worse, having to listen to somebody out of the country or non-citizen talk about politics?
Oh, gee, I don't know. Is that a shot?
No, it's not a shot. It's just a question.
QAM, hello.
Hey, George,
hello.
you were right. Gene Rayburn never had them,
Gene Rayburn didn't have mutton chops. No, he didn't. So that's all we're going to get is cranks all day long. Beautiful. 17 till 2, all crank radio, 560 QAM.
Incredible. New from the makers of Anorexic Mary Kate and Alcoholic Lindsay comes the newest celebrity doll for your little girl to play with. It's Bald Britney. That's right. The latest celebrity to wig out, Britney Spears, is now in doll form, complete with a full head of hair. But not for long. The Bald Britney kit comes with its own little clipper set, so your little girl can straighten Britney's head just like Britney did herself. There's also a cute little set of tattoos you can affix anywhere on Britney's bare body. And for a limited time, we'll include 2 baby boy dolls and a little court order taking them away from your Bald Britney. Plus, as an added bonus, pull a string on Britney's cell phone and you'll hear an MP3 of Kevin Federline and Justin Timberlake laughing hysterically at her. The Bald Britney doll. Available now at a tattoo parlor near you.
By the way, in case you haven't noticed, we got nothing but Bald Britney bits for the rest of the hour. Well, we just got a whole new batch. Rhymes with catch. I'm surprised that you shocked me the other day. You said Dusty Rhodes in a wrestling context. I didn't think you were that old. I mean, you look that old, but I know that you're not.
I'm 31.
If I'm taking a lot of shots at Chris,
it's
because you deserve it. Yeah, he did do a comeback. See, that's from my day when a former stepfather used to take me to the wrestling matches over at the Miami Beach Convention Center. Not that we wouldn't watch them on TV too. And in those days, I thought 2 things about the pro wrestling scene. I thought it was real, and I thought it was entertaining.
Well, when I saw Lex Luger fight at either Key Biscayne or someplace like that, and I saw him slash his forehead to get the blood to come out, I knew it wasn't all that real anymore.
I was a kid, I was stupid, I was naive, and I wanted to disbelieve it, and I was saying stuff like, to the old man, to the Woody, his name was when he was alive. I said, I'm not so sure this is real. Oh yeah, it's real. What are you talking about, you stupid punker? Turns out that he was wrong about almost everything. But Dusty Rhodes with the bionic elbow, boy, that takes me back. This audience is big all over that. That was a big scene down here, the wrestling. That old-time wrestling.
Was it?
Dusty Rhodes and Haystacks Calhoun and Blackjack Mulligan and the LeDuc brothers. We've had wonderful shows. Well, depends on who you ask, I guess. About reminiscing about the old days. See, Neil's not the only one that can reminisce about the old days. The good old fun pro wrestling stuff. And Andre the Giant. Now, I never did see I was never at the match, and I don't even know where that was, where Hulk Hogan, because he talks about it. I watched the Hulk show. When he had to fight Andre the Giant. He did. He picked up Andre the Giant and body slammed him.
I don't remember if I saw it or if I just heard about it, but yeah, that was an amazing thing.
Of course, Hulk is a big guy himself, so it's not like it would be the same as, like, say, me picking you up. I know. Hey, you'd be surprised what kind of a hernia I could blow out doing that, something like that. QAM, hello. QAM, hello. Hello.
560?
560 WQAM, Florida's first radio station. What can we do for you?
Yeah, that used to be Gordon Soley Wrestling.
That's right. Channel 6.
Blackjack Mulligan.
You know it.
Purple Haze.
That was Blackjack Mulligan when he was a bad guy.
Yeah, that was good wrestling.
Yeah, it was.
Barry Windham, Mike Rotunda.
Now, was it good, or is it just because, we're old and we remember it?
Yeah, we're too old.
I mean, the only thing that's good about it anymore is all the trash talking in between the fights. That's about the only thing that's good. Kind of like in those days, too.
Yeah, nobody compares to like guys like Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan.
Woo! Ric Flair! Woo!
Take it easy, George.
All right, those were fun times. QAM, hello.
Hey, George, how are you?
Fine, how are you?
Man, you're talking about the old wrestling. I'm from New York. I used to go to Madison Square Garden with my father. I'm 53 when I was a kid. I remember Blackjack Mulligan, but I remember Blackjack Lanza. They were the brothers.
I don't. I remember there was a whole family. Who were the brothers? There were a whole family of them.
Oh, I knew the Blackjack brothers, and they were Mulligan and Lanza. They were black leather vests and cowboy hats. They were bad. Then you remember Cheap J Strongbow?
Oh yeah.
And Haystacks Calhoun.
Haystacks. Now I saw Haystacks fight live, and the LeDuc brothers. Never saw Andre fight live, unfortunately. Dusty Rhodes all the time. Dusty practically lived down here.
Yeah, I remember not Andre the Giant. I remember Dusty Rhodes with the figure 4.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We would do that in the playground. I'm gonna put the figure 4 on you.
Yep. We used to go outside. We'd do the figure 4 on one another.
Yeah, it worked technically, but the problem with actually doing it is the other person had to really be cooperative. There was no way to do that in any sort of a real fight. It was a real, like a two-man operation. It's all right, now you put your leg here. All right, now I'm going to put my leg over here, and twist.
It was like Twister.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like playing Twister. I remember a lot of those guys. George the Animal Steel. You know that guy? When you see him chew the turnbuckle.
I remember the Mongolian Stomper, too. Remember him? Yeah, that's it was always fun to hate the Arabs or people like that. He had the Iron Sheik, but then before him we had the Mongolian Stomper. I guess he wasn't an Arab. I don't think he was Mongolian. He wasn't even Chinese.
No, the Iron Sheik. I remember he was partnered up with the Russian.
Mm-hmm.
What was the
Nikolai
Russian
Volkov?
Now, that's right.
Iron Sheik. Yeah, them two. They were like a little.
Now, which one had the brain claw? I think the Mongolian Stomper also had the brain claw attack. Somebody will know. Let me tell you, we got all these lines loaded up. QAM, who had the brain claw? QAM, who had the brain claw?
George.
Yeah.
You can't talk about old wrestling without Buddy Cope, Hiro Matsudo.
That's right.
That song. Terry and Dory Funk.
It's the Funk Brothers. That's who I was thinking of.
There you go, George. Now,
I saw them fight.
Was good.
And my favorite story is running into Blackjack Mulligan's navel. I was running to the bathroom. I was 12 years old, running to the bathroom at the Miami Beach Convention Center. I turned a corner and ran just full force into somebody, and when I backed up, I realized that my face was flat up against this guy's hairy navel. And I backed up, and I looked, and here was nothing in front of me but this guy in Speedos. And I didn't know who it was. I mean, there was a giant towering guy with just a pair of Speedos right in front of me. And I looked down, and I saw cowboy boots with silver horseshoes on them, and I thought, oh, no. Oh, no, and I looked up, and there was the big mustache, and it was Blackjack Mulligan. And he looked down on me like a Pomeranian had just run into him or something like that. And I was just standing there shaking, and he just walked around me like I didn't even exist. And I'm sitting there. Did I tell you I was on the way to the bathroom?
Yeah.
Almost didn't make it. 6 till 2 on 560 QAM.
Summer
wondering, is Britney Spears crying out for help, or is she simply trying out a new hairdo? Whatever the reason, hairstylist Esther Tognazzi of Esther's Hair Studio tried to stop her.
She sat in my chair and wanted her hair shaved off.
Every head you shave,
and I said, I'm not doing it.
Every drink you take, every coffee break, every chocolate cake, we're all watching you.
She said, no, I really want my hair shaved off.
Now where you going, grave? Do you want to pay?
And I tried to talk her out of it.
You're in disarray, look like G.I. Jane, we're all watching you.
And I said, maybe you're having a, hormonal moment.
Down in Miami, you asked the hairdresser, please. You cut your locks away. Now your wig is fake, and K-Fed's looking great. Keep staying out late while you procreate. We're all watching you. We're all watching every head you shake, every drink you take, every coffee break, every watching. Where you going great? Do you want to pay? You're in disarray, look like you're watching. Now your ring is fake.
We tend to consume these celebrities until there's nothing left of them. Perhaps she resonates with this fact also and is saying, look, this is a dramatic symbol that I don't want to be touched.
Yes, Faxer, I remember the sleeper hole.